in Wichita right now.
Wichita. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just you and that girl too, right?
Yeah.
That's
but
cool.
We're live now, so we'll jump into this.
All right. How we doing, everybody? How we doing, Hannibal?
We're doing great. We are here with none other than the first man to bench press over 700 pounds, world-class power lifter. He's got an LJN WWE action figure, one of the first successful power lifters to make the transition to pro wrestling. Ted Arcidi, how are you doing today, sir?
Excellent. Every day above ground, right? It's a good fucking day.
Yeah, I mean, you were just telling me about it. Everyone's dying. All your friends have passed. I don't know exactly how old you are, but you're above like the average for wrestlers and bodybuilders.
Yeah. It's very strange. I'm in my early 60s, and these guys aren't far from me. Some of them are younger, and I don't know if it's traced back to the shit they did up their nose in the 80s or just the Xanax and the things like that, because a lot of guys did that, and it just catches up. You fuck with your heart like that, it's going to come back and haunt you. It scars your heart tissue, and that's not good. That's not good at all.
Yeah, because if you look at the quote unquote steroid users from that era, a lot of the ones that were taking steroids were also doing that other party stuff.
Yeah.
And
so your heart never gets a real rest like what you should get in recuperative sleep, regenerative sleep. It's all artificial, so it doesn't get to that deep REM sleep. So it doesn't, help your heart rest at all, and it actually causes damage. And then, these guys, I feel bad because a lot of them are good guys, and they loved the life, and they thought it was never going to end. And then it's catching up with them. I mean, look at my buddy Jake Roberts. He's still wearing that mask, I think, off and on, that oxygen mask. I don't know how much of a smoker he was, but that's catching up to him. That always does with smoking, because it hurts the inside of your lungs, and eventually you fucking choke to death. It's horrible.
He's lucky. I don't know if you heard, he's under AEW contract now. They don't even really do anything with him, and he makes about $600,000 a year.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he could do commentary or something, or maybe go in and do a DTT if he's feeling better. If his fucking bowels are passing okay,
Yeah. Was there any one guy that it bothered you the most that you were closest with that's passed in wrestling?
Yeah, it's a Sheik. Him and Volkov. I was really tight with those guys. They took me under the wing. And even before I got into wrestling, Peoria, he was phenomenal. He's still around, thank God. But yeah, the Sheik, Vince had a program for me and the Sheik in the Midwest, and we did phenomenal. It was like the main event, the whole Midwest tour and part of the LA tour, the California tour. And like Stud, he just walked me through the matches, and we just popped, because when they see the strongest man in the world, they never seen anybody my size. And then with the Sheik, who's a hell of a worker, and he had so much heat, literally, the place went shithouse. It was great. I think the guy who reffed us during the time was Herb. He might have passed. Herb Webner, I think. Is that the guy?
Oh, really? Or Earl Hebner?
Earl, yeah. Earl.
His brother Dave passed. Dave passed. Earl's still alive.
Yeah, but no, those two guys I miss the most. I really do. And I mean, what do you think, Hannibal? We got what, from my generation, is it like 60% of us are dead now?
Yeah, definitely. Wow. It's. Did you find it strange that the Sheik passed after Volkov?
Yeah, maybe they were tight like blood brothers, but I didn't realize how old the Sheik was. He was in his 80s. He looked fucking good. He really looked good. And, I keep pushing the fact that this guy was an Olympic champion, Olympic fucking champion, and, real wrestling, gold medal. And he was probably, most people, I think, would agree with me. No one fucked with him. I think he was the toughest in the WWE. I really do. I really do. He could tie anybody in a fucking knot. And, he was great. He was
another really one that passed was Billy Graham, and I know you donated to his GoFundMe a couple times.
Yeah, I did that. Billy was really cool with me. He gave me a lot of guidance when I was on the West Coast, and I was very lucky to get that guidance from him at the tail end of his career, because I mean, Superstar was like one of the first consummate bodybuilding, powerlifting guys into the ring, and he looked the balls, and he had a great, ring psychology, and just a good guy. And yeah, it's sad how he went, because I thought he was going to make it, but they needed money for the surgeries, and he made it through one surgery. But then, like the Pope, he just died, So that's
he literally died because they ran out of money to fund him, and it's too bad WWE didn't step in there.
Yeah, with all the money they're making, I think Paul would have fucking stepped up on that. I'm sure they knew that was happening and stuff. But I'm just curious, Hannibal. Didn't Medicaid? He's covered. He's a U.S. citizen. Why wouldn't they cover his operations and stuff? Like, I think
they covered it to an extent, and we'd have to ask Valerie. But there was a certain limit. Like, he was still in the hospital when he died, but he needed further treatments to get out of the hospital, and eventually,
how old was he?
79. He was pretty close to 80, actually.
Yeah.
So there's another guy. He didn't actually do coke or anything, and I think that helped him because he took ridiculous amounts of steroids, and he still lived a pretty long life.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he took, but I can tell you this: he was in the Arnold generation, and not for nothing, but those guys just took the basics. They just took the basics. Like I took the basics. I took Dianabol, Winstrol, Anavar for orals, and then testosterone cypionate, and was it the Decadurablin, And then nobody believes this, but this is what these guys were taking too. My last 2 weeks before my big lift, when I set the world record, I was only taking 750 milligrams a week. That's the most I've ever taken. And I would take that the last 2 weeks before I blew up 700 pounds, And I think the problem today is they do that in a fucking day now. Can you believe that shit? That's unbelievable. So their liver can't take it. They don't get the smarts, they're not good about it. And I think one of the big thing is before they get on the steroids, they should have done what me and Arnold did. And also Superstar. We worked our ass off half the time of the year, all natural. So we get that way you increase your tendon strength, your ligament strength, your muscle insertions. They get good endurance. So when you take the shit, you can add another 100 pounds, But if you don't take the time off and clean your receptors out and make yourself naturally strong, you're going to get injured because it does weaken you. You can't rely on that shit. And before I got into the steroids, I was a senior in college and I was doing my student teaching in Concord, Mass. And it was May that year when I graduated, May of '82, Norwich University. I knew I was going to get on the shit, and don't mind mine. And I ended up trying a natural bench. I got up to a 600-pound natural bench, and no one believes that, but that's the truth. 600 pounds natural.
Wow.
And when I did that, I said, I know I'm going to set the record, man, because I just, I put that up, and that was clean, weighing like 280, so I was.
Can you tell us a little bit more about you're still busy there, by the way, fans. He does have an event. Let's just give it a quick plug now. May 3rd, coming up in Manchester, New Hampshire. You have an event coming up there, right?
Yeah, I got a signing here at my store, Weightlifters Warehouse in Manchester, New Hampshire. And that's going to be good. And I just want to give back to the people, man, that pushed me, that bought my pay-per-view, my merch. And
thanks
stuff
for
like
these,
that.
By the way. You personally signed me a couple of these.
Oh man,
I appreciate it.
One from World Class, one from WWE. Those are good shots too.
Yeah, those are amazing.
Cool.
You're one of the nicest wrestlers.
People can get those, no charge, and they can raffle. We're going to give a free raffle for 2 package dolls of my LJN, which I believe are $2,000 each now online.
Wow.
Package dolls. So I'm psyched about that. And
that's
I'm just
Paul
in a
Bear
good
with you, right?
where, I'm making money with the acting, with the real estate I got in my store, and I just want to give back. I'm not like these other wrestlers where they charge $40 for a fucking headshot. It's like, come on, man. These people, they paid your ass. They were in their seats and they bought the pay-per-views and stuff. I don't know, unless they need the money, you know, if they're really hurting that bad, which I understand some wrestlers are, right, Hannibal?
Well, definitely. But even now in WWE, they don't want their wrestlers signing autographs. I don't know if you've heard this. They want people to not bother the wrestlers unless it's a paid WWE autograph
Oh, okay. So they
event.
save their signings for the paid WWE ones.
Yeah.
That way they can command more of a price. I don't know. I'm not like that. If anyone, even if they come up to me at my farm or on the street or at the supermarket, I just sign. It's like, fuck, man, I just can't. That's just not Christian. It's not right, you know.
Yeah, and back in your day, I mean, you were going 7 days a week wrestling too. Now they only wrestle 1 day a week, and they'll act like, oh my god, someone's stopping me in the airport for an autograph. This ruins my whole day.
Wrestling 1 day a week now.
Yes, there's no more house shows. I'm not kidding.
That's
and the minimum pay is $350 a year. The minimum pay is $350 a year.
Wow.
And it's 1 day a week. If there's a pay-per-view, maybe 2 if you're one of the top guys, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, if you get a hold of Paul Levesque, Triple H, I'm trying to get a hold of him. He put me over the other night at his Hall of Fame speech. And Paul used to work with me here. He helped me out with
if you have a message, you know what? Say something and I'll tweet it. I'll make a clip of it and I'll tweet it directly to him.
Okay. Let me know. Should I do that now?
Yeah, sure. Do it right now.
Paul Levesque, how the fuck are you, man? Thank you for putting me over the other night at the Hall of Fame speech. I love you, man. I've been trying to get a hold of you. You've done so well. You helped my ass out here at Weightlifters Warehouse, New England Women's Gym. You remember those days? We used to hang. I want to talk to you. I want to see how you're doing. I know you're doing fucking unbelievable, and you deserve everything you got coming to you, Paul. And I'm so happy for you. And just give me a shout, man, will you? And my phone number, Hannibal will give it to you. All right. Does that sound good, Hannibal?
Exactly. Or he can do that, and I'll be happy to. Or Weightlifters Warehouse.
Or he could call me at Weightlifters Warehouse. Yeah. Put that number up for him. But Paul, he deserves everything he's got coming to him. And Paul, I don't know if you remember this, but we were at Gold's Training. I mean, we were like asshole buddies. We used to see each other almost every day. And we're training at Gold's Gym. And he just started getting he was into Kowalski's training. We got him into that down in Boston. And I knew he was going to make it because he had the height, but he could throw a punch and he could sell like a motherfucker and he could work. He was a thinking man's wrestler, really good. And I told him right in the middle of a set, and I don't know if you remember this, Paul, but I remember this word for fucking word. I said, Paul, let me tell you something, my friend. One day, you're going to make more money and we're going to have more laughs than you could ever think of. All you got to do was open up that fucking door. And that door was because he was getting into the NWA down there. He was sending his tapes down. He was tight with Flair because he'd go to the Gold's Gym seminars when Flair was owning some Gold's Gyms. And I was so psyched for him when he got in there. And he did fucking great, even on his first TV, you know. And I just knew the guy was going to go everywhere because he just knew the business. He worked his ass off. And he's got everything coming to him. So he's really just a great fucking guy, too. And what a business mind, too. But he helped my ass out. And, yeah, I just want to connect with him again, you know.
You can't do any better than he's done for himself in wrestling. He's literally done as good as you could do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the best workers in history. And I'm just saying that as his buddy. But
and I'm saying this as a compliment behind the scenes too. He has the name, the game for a reason. He played the political game, which is just, you know all about that, right? And I'm saying it as a compliment. He played it better than anyone's ever played it.
He totally did. And but like in acting and in wrestling, and Vince will tell you this too, you know, forget how you look. Well, body, you got to have a decent body. He had a great fucking body. It's all about the body of your work. The body of your work, not who you know. Can you fucking rock and roll? As Gary Hart would say, you know, you got to be able to rock and roll. And I remember he said that when I did a dark match before I went to WCW down in Texas. And they were all watching me because I was a heel, because I came from Stampede. And I wanted to be a heel. I didn't want to be a face because I always knew I was going to be a heel. And I did a match, a dark match at, I think it was a Sportatorium with Cousin Junior. And I just fucking killed him. It was good. It went back and forth too, which is great. So it showed them I could work. And I remember getting out of the greatest thing in the world. I was getting out of the match, going back to the locker room, and he's coming down the steps. He goes, brother, you can work. You can work. You can rock and roll. And that felt really good coming from Gary Hart, especially after coming from the WWE and, you know, learning about healing in Stampede, and then getting the push from Fritz von Erich at the WCCW. And that was a great, great thing. I mean, they gave me the fucking strap. They gave me Percy, who was Paul Bearer later.
Managing you, right?
And we got great TV exposure. It was great. And that's on my YouTube channel too. You got my great match with John Studd on it's Ted Arcidi YouTube. And they got my promos from World Class too, along with my world record list too. But
and your website is I put your website up there too, which I'm sure all your links are probably on arcidifitnessequipment.com.
No, just the best one you could do. Put two on. Put Weightlifters Warehouse.
Okay.
And then the other one, put Ted Arcidi YouTube. Those two are the best. Yeah, okay, the other one's a little diluted. It's an older one.
Yeah. Do you have any stories about Paul Bearer you could share with us?
Yeah. You know, he's a real mortician, right? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So he was even before Paul Bearer, he was a mortician. Wow.
Yeah. He was a mortician. I mean, we used to shoot the shit on the road, you know, because you could be like on the road 3-4 hours in Texas either way. You never get to the border. And he just became a fast friend when he became my manager. We used to travel together with Matt Bourne. And he was a real mortician. And he told me about, you know, he loved doing it. It's just some attraction. But he talked about the dark side, especially if they would call him. And this is when he was in, I think, Alabama. Yeah. When they would call him to an accident, especially if there was kids involved, like a dead kid or a baby, you know, in a car accident. He's seen some horrific shit. And he once held the baby and he was holding the baby because the paramedics weren't there yet for some reason. And he could hear the baby just give his last breath, like, and then that was it. So it was really heartfelt, you know. And he told me how he struggled, you know, when he was living with his wife, and they were in Florida, and that was going pretty good. You know, a lot of the clan from Florida went to WCW, World Class, and he was part of that. And that's where he really got his shine as national prominence, because the guy's a great manager. Him and Gary Hart, I think well, I know Paul Bearer's in the Hall of Fame, but they should make Gary Hart somehow in there too, because he was great, man. I mean, how can you not forget Gary Hart when he's, you know, promoing the shit out of the one-man gang, Kabuki, everybody in the world. You too. You'd watch WWF, and then like in another channel, like an hour and a half later, there's World Class all over. That's why I was so glad when I went down there. We still had like global exposure, so it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
How were the Von Erichs to work with?
They were good guys. I mean, I think Fritz is getting a bad rap. He wasn't overbearing. I think these kids, they just had so much freedom that, you know, it's sad. It's an old adage, and it's hackneyed and worn out. But they turned to drugs too, you know, because it was out there. I mean, all of a sudden, these guys are superstars everywhere they go, and it's just sad. It's just sad. When I went down there, not Mike. It was Mike. He died first. And then who's the other one that kind of was autistic? He was a wrestler.
There was David.
David. It was Mike then. Yeah, David's the first one.
Yeah.
And I still don't know. I don't know if
Chris too. Chris was the small one.
Something. But Mike died of suicide. And then I really befriended the little guy, Chris. because he wanted to get into lifting, and you know, he was kind of a runt. He didn't have any size. And I remember Fritz called me in the office and says, "Hey, can you give him a routine?" I said, "Hell yeah, I'll give him a basic routine." He never really stuck with it. And then I was wrestling in Bermuda a couple years after that, and I heard he blew his brains out. It's like, what the hell? So no, but I do not believe that Iron Claw, Fritz, they got that wrong. He was not overbearing at all. Not overbearing at all. He was
And
a
they
good
left
father.
Chris totally out. What did you think that they left Chris, like they pretended like he didn't even exist?
I don't think that's true. The movie portrayed that, Hannibal?
They didn't use Chris in the movie. They there was no Chris. They only had David, Kevin.
They should have put Chris
Peoria,
in there, because even the brothers felt a lot of empathy while they were making it. And there's little Chris at home, you know, just couldn't get the size or nothing, and he wanted to be the wrestler in the worst way. So they should have shown some segment or some epitaphs about Chris, because they loved their little brother, you know. They loved him.
They always say Owen Hart didn't want to be a wrestler too. Is that true from and Owen back in the Stampede days?
I don't know that. I think he always wanted to be a wrestler, but I was only there for like a year when I turned heel. And I know this about Owen, and you know, I love their family. Stu and his wife, they used to have me and the other wrestlers, and I felt like it was an honor, because I'm like with the domain, the kingdom of Canadian wrestling up there in Calgary. Stu Hart with the dungeon and stuff. They had me over there for Sunday dinner every Sunday, and you're in this big dining room, I guess, Hannibal, and around the whole, it's like a 50 by 50 dining room. There's a big room, and there's like,
I trained there too. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, 2 feet by 2 feet pictures of every sibling taken at the same age, like they're all 10 or 12 years old. And I thought that was pissing. They thought I was a freak. They love having me there, and I really love being there on Sundays and with everybody, even the ones that weren't too involved with the wrestling, but a lot of the family was there. Family was very important, and that Sunday meal was very, very important. And I loved Brett, and I feel bad that I guess he had a stroke a while ago. And now there's a guy that could have done well with the movies if he stayed in with the movies, because I thought he was a hell of an actor.
Yeah, he was in that Lonesome Dove. You've been in tons of stuff yourself.
Yeah. I started acting when I got out. I started really acting in '97. I wanted to stay in entertainment, so I wanted to, and I didn't want to just do thug roles. Anyone could be a hard ass and be like a fucking thug. Yeah, there's no fucking acting. I said, I really want to fucking act, like where you rock and roll with somebody in a scene and shit like that, and your true personality comes out. So I took acting classes. I took these acting classes, scene study classes in New York and Boston, like every week. I would fly down there, stay a couple days, or in New York or in Boston, and I would do scene studies and all different perceptions of acting and different scenes. And I just overdosed on it because I just immersed myself in it. And I was good at it, good enough to like start going into like acting in small budget films, student films. You don't just start off right away.
Because you've been with Mark Wahlberg, right? You've been with like Robert
yeah.
Wahlberg.
And I worked my way up to that. I got a great part in that movie, The Fighter, and then The Family, and did a few Law and Orders, and most recently I did Ray Donovan, and I had my knees operated on, so I'm getting back into it again. You know, I had
The Town with Ben Affleck too.
Yeah, that was The Town. That was the smaller part there, but that was great to be on, because these movies that we're in, they just get great exposure, man. Really good, especially The Fighter. I mean, that's still like on pay-per-view, like once a week, once every 2 weeks. So I'm getting a royalty check from that.
And Denzel Washington, the Equalizer too. You were in that as well.
Too. Yeah. That's on the website too, I think. If they go to the Ted Arcidi YouTube, and there's a link
by
to
the
my
way,
IMDb, it goes right to my acting reel. When you're in IMDb, you probably know, Hannibal, everyone's got an acting reel, so they just show, which is good for the agents, because they show my best work, and then you get called in for other auditions and stuff. So it's
Yeah,
cool.
that I'm just showing your website now. The people
Oh yeah,
can
yeah,
go. They
yeah,
can
yeah.
they
If
can
you
click
want, if you
there to
get to
go
the
to
way, that's
YouTube.
the one Weightlifter's Warehouse you got. Click it back to my mug there. Go back to the mug, and if you click that, that will go right to YouTube, my YouTube channel, and then from the YouTube you see my Wikipedia. But the YouTube's loaded with shit. It's got some good stuff. I think they just put in a clip. I did a Wendy's commercial back in the day, and they got that up there now. And
Oh, is
my
that this
biggest
one?
commercial I did was a FedEx commercial. It was like a Super Bowl commercial about 10 years ago. And that was the balls. That was so cool. What exposure I got from that. But yeah, I had to, and Triple H will
Oh,
tell you
wow.
this too. Paul will tell you this too. You got to work at it. It just doesn't happen. You work at it, you work at it, you work at it. And the more student films and the more low budget films I did, it's just like I'm breathing, I'm talking to you now. That's how I am as an actor,
How many Wendy's triples can you eat?
Oh, fuck. After I fast, because I fast twice a week, 43 hours at a time. Like I just got off a fast. I bet I could probably have 3 with a quart of milk.
Do you really fast? Like, because you hear if some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, but
Nah,
overall,
it's always good. It's always good. If you're working out and you're eating well, fasting is the best thing because it gives your glands a rest. It helps your body recuperate. If you're a lifter and you're training, it helps your body even recuperate more because your body's not burning energy on digestion. Your body burns a lot of energy on digestion, so much so that it doesn't give enough fortitude and emphasis on regeneration of muscle tissue, actin and myosin, muscle fibers. So yeah, but you sleep better, you're quicker. I try to do my auditions now. Like I just had one last week. I'm getting a lot of auditions now, a lot of close calls. I try to do the auditions the day after I fast before I even eat because you're very quick. Your body is engaging. You got high energy level. And I think a lot of actors do that. That's why a lot of actors, I don't know about wrestlers, but a lot of actors do intermittent fasting. And it's really good for you. It's good for your body. I just can't see, unless you're diabetic or something, or if somebody's got a blood problem or something, maybe fasting isn't for you. But 99% of the people, anyone that does fasting, they just perform better. They're more energetic and they sleep better, and it just makes sense.
so someone like me, 42, I'm still working out 6 to 7 days a week.
How much do you
How
weigh?
I'm 296.
296. How
Yeah,
tall are you?
6'4".
Oh, that's good. Okay, so you
Yeah,
put together good. Yeah, I
yeah.
would start with this.
I could lose a little bit, but
You
yeah.
will though. You will with the fasting. You're gonna get harder, quicker too. I would start with intermittent fasting because that's what I did. Just eat the big meal of the day. Eat it at like between 9 and 11 in the morning, and that's it. That's it. Do that for a couple months. One meal a day, and your cravings will go away. But alone, just eating one meal a day, which is called truly intermittent fasting, your body's going to respond like a son of a bitch. It's going to be really good. You're going to feel it. And then you go to the next level like I did, and you say, okay, I will still eat 9 to 11, my big meal of the day. But then after that, pick a day. I'm not going to eat the whole next day until the next day. So 43 hours from that last meal. And then you can eat. And you know something? You don't feel it. You get better. And the cravings don't kill you. And I did that once a week. And I'm thinking, this is the balls. And I even did it on heavy lifting days too. I didn't lose anything. On
So
my
one
running
meal
days,
a
I didn't
day, is
lose
that
anything.
before or after a workout?
Huh?
If you're only gonna eat one meal a day, would that be before or after your workout?
Well, it depends. If you're eating, you should do it after your workout. You don't want it. You don't want the food in your stomach while you're working out. That's not good anyway, because it's just too much energy, too much energy for your body to digest. You want that energy. You want the red blood cells going to the muscle tissue, and you need all the energy. You don't want to be bogged down by digestion, and that's what's going to happen. So eat after. And then, like I said, if you happen, when you get to that next stage, and let's say in the middle of your 43-hour fast and you have to work out that day, no problem. Because the next day you're going to eat. Or if you have to eat the next day, that day, do your workout first and then you do your binge, you know, like I did today, because I had just fasted 43 hours and I woke up. I had high-end dark chocolate. That's really good for your brain. I had that. That's good for the flavonoids, good for anti-cancer. And then I had like major protein, a pound or 3/4 pound of crab meat, a rack of baby back ribs, and some egg salad. And then I could have sweets even after that, because, you know, I'm not really doing any damage. So I had some junk food. I had some brownies and some ice cream and stuff. But I'm full as a bastard. I'm not going to eat now until tomorrow. And then tomorrow is Thursday. That's my full day where I just eat in the morning. And then I don't eat nothing till going through Friday, nothing. And I'm working out Friday. I'm running and I'm lifting weights, not till Saturday morning. So there's another 43 hours, because I do this twice a week. And I love it, man. I mean, think about it. I'm only having like 6 meals a day, 5, 6 meals a week. That's it.
And I'm guessing in New Hampshire, you're not talking about that imitation crab meat either. You're probably talking about the real thing. No, this is
the high-end shit from, I get it from Canada. It's really snow crab meat. It's the sweetest. It blows away lobster. It's the sweetest crab meat in the world. They get it up in the Hudson Bay from the cold waters, and I buy it wholesale, and it's delicious. It's so damn good. Highest protein content, more than even lobster. The crab meat's really good. But yeah, I afford it, and I deserve it. I'm world champ.
Definitely. Someone's actually asking what you think about Mark Henry using the name World's Strongest Man.
That's. I mean, shit. Is that the best product they could come up with for World's Strongest Man? I saw one of his matches. I got nothing against the guy, but I saw him up against. I put it on YouTube just for the hell. I just wanted to see how this guy moves and stuff. And I had to go out to have I could have a sandwich by the time he put the Undertaker on the top rope. It took that fucking long, and he's sweating up a storm. And I'm thinking, fucking Vince, is this the best product you got for the World's Strongest Man? Because it sucks. Maybe that's why they had to send him back to school. But then I compare him against my John Studd match. I blow him away. He couldn't move like I did. But I like the kid. The guy's good. He just should have lost some weight, because you can't move and everything looks so laborious, and he's sweating his ass off. I mean, you tell me, Hannibal.
They put him with Tony Atlas for a while because Tony tried to keep him in line in the gym so he wouldn't get too out of shape from what Tony told me.
So he had a problem eating? Is that what you're saying?
Tony just said he needed to be kind of kept in line, so they put Tony as his manager for a few years to make sure that that I guess he would stay on the right track with eating and stuff.
That's too bad. Yeah.
Did you know Tony at all?
Yeah, Tony's a good shit. I wish he didn't miss all those shots. We would have had a better angle together, because he did miss some shots when we were working an angle together. The guy, I don't know, he just maybe
he had a drug problem for a few years.
I'm sorry, what?
For a few years he had a drug problem, which he admits to now. So
yeah,
it may have been
yeah. He's a good shit. He looks fucking good these days, though. He looks really good. I gotta hand it to him. But yeah, Mark, you know, I always feel it always goes back to this, Hannibal. I thank Vince McMahon the best. And when they rag on him for like sexual harassment or this or that, that's bullshit. That's just jealousy. He's not a fucking kindergarten teacher. He's not a therapist. He's not our father. We're adults. And if we fuck up with drugs, that's our fault. Don't blame Vince. And these people that are in the gutter after taking drugs and stuff, they're out of the WWF and they're trying to say they get PSD or fucking shoulder problems or they can't move and stuff, and they want to sue Vince. I think that's total bullshit. And I'll come to Vince's aid right away. He put these guys on the map. He put me on the map. I mean, think about it. After setting the world record, a year after that, I mean, talk about a quick fucking intro. I was at wrestling camp for maybe 4 or 5 months, and he put me in there right away. And I was in WrestleMania 2. I was in a main event with John Studd. Had the wrestling doll. prime time movie. I mean, wrestling, and I just got so much exposure from the guy. He gave me the chance, and I'm so glad I delivered. I will always thank Vince, because these other assholes, if they bitch and moan about Vince, they have to stop and realize if Vince didn't give them a call, if they didn't go to the WWE, they'd be fucking gym rats, man. They wouldn't have nothing. So who were they to fucking blame Vince? That pisses me off. And I said that indirectly to Paul too once on a tape. I said, Paul, you tell Vince, you know, I owe him my thanks. So also Fritz von Erich, man. He wanted to see you could work, and he pushed you. He gave me Percy. He gave me the belt, the strap down there. I became a better heel. And then, yeah, it's all about opportunity. I think it's kind of, I don't know. What do you think, Hannibal? It's almost like an elitist view, like a entitlement. Some of these guys, they let their gimmick get to their head, kind of like the Ultimate Warrior. You know, he was cool with me down in World Class, but I guess he turned into kind of arrogant up there because he believed in his gimmick.
How was your time with him in World Class?
It was good. It was kind of short. He's down there for about three months before he went to New York. And we had some decent matches at the Cotton Bowl in Texas, and all power moves and stuff. So it was good. It was a good draw. We had a lot of people because they wanted to see two big guys beat the shit out of each other. And that's what they like. Vince always told me that too. He says, Ted, you got your high flyers, you got your technical wrestlers. And this is what he told me before I went on that angle with John Studd. He says, but everybody, mark my words, everybody wants to see two big fucking guys, the world's strongest man and the world's biggest wrestler, i.e. John Studd, going at it and just beating the fuck out of each other outside the ring. And he was right. We brought the fucking house down. It was sold out at the Boston Garden. And who was I to have a main event? But he gave me a main event after 3 months being in the fucking business.
Ryan's asking here, was there some type of shoot with you and John Studd? Are the rumors true?
No. But, you know, I'm glad Ryan said that because it's believable, because he claimed to have set the world record in the bench at before I got there, or maybe even when I got there. And so that was controversy. And I think that was the mastermind of Vince, getting us geared up with the two best benchers in the whole world. So that's a mastermind. That was a key move by Vince, and the people laid it up. And I did a tour with Studd in Morocco and everybody down in Florida. And I work out with these guys. They're just good guys. They treated me cool, and they knew I was up right away, you know, right from setting the world record. And that quick stint at in Orange, Connecticut at that wrestling camp with Tony Altamori. So they were kind of like, wow, this guy's really fucking huge. And we worked out together, and they helped me with the matches too. You know, they gave me some psychology, and it worked. It worked. Culminating up to that John Studd match. I was so psyched that I didn't think Vince would want to do it, but he put me on the main event with Studd, and we sold out the Boston Garden. It was unbelievable. When I lifted him up, because he had that thing with the $15,000 if he could slam him, I picked him up like fucking butter cakes. I could feel the whole fucking crowd. It was like Mount Vesuvius. The whole world was shaking. And I remember him telling me in the locker room, don't fucking slam me, because that's his gimmick, you know? And he grabbed the ropes and shit, and then we just went back and forth, and then we took it outside the ring. But that was a great moment, man. That was a great moment. And especially when you got people like Gorilla Monsoon and Lord Alfred Hayes, they were like narrating the thing too. So they put us both over. But
was Bobby Heenan managing him for that one?
He wasn't there that day.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't bring them to the house shows all the time, did they?
Yeah, Heenan was great. I wish I got closer with him. I'll tell you, that guy can work. You know, for two people, and I'm mentioning also Adrian Adonis, those two guys, they might not have had bodies, but they had the gift of fucking gab. They could rap on the fucking mic, and that's what counts. And when they're in the ring taking fucking bumps, they look like toys going around. You can just give them a fucking slam off the ropes. They do fucking pirouettes and go out of the ring like two fucking rows into the crowd. It was amazing. You've seen Adonis do that, right?
Yeah,
It's
the
amazing.
flip.
It's amazing. The ability they had for that, selling and getting the crowd's heat. That was beautiful. That's like acting. I mean, it's fucking beautiful. Talk about psychology. Those guys had it done. I wish they were still around too. Yeah, because Adonis got killed when I left Stampede. He got killed in a car crash.
Yeah,
with a couple midgets, right?
In Newfoundland.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Was he doing a shot out there?
Yeah, it's too bad. I think the drugs got to him and he lost his job and everything and was reduced to wrestling up there.
Hannibal, here's a note about Adonis. We're shooting the shit in the locker room. And he's from Buffalo. I was born in Buffalo. Did you know he played junior A hockey in Buffalo?
No,
he was going to play pros. He was that fucking good. He played junior A hockey in a Buffalo team that was going through Canada and everything else. And he was right up there. He would have been drafted if he didn't get into the fucking wrestling. He was really fucking good. So we talked hockey too, because I played hockey. I thought I was going to be a pro hockey player until I started lifting weights. And I was killing people in the corners and in front of the net. And I basically was told, you're going to have to lose some weight now. You got to be easier on the guys because you're going to kill everybody. And then I saw a poster. There was like a handout, an advertisement for what they call a bench press meet. And I said, what the fuck is a bench press meet? We do them down here we bench here all the time. It was a meet, like a power meet, but you get 3 attempts and there's weight classes. And then if you win, you get a fucking trophy and you get a write-up and shit. I got second place my first time I had a write-up, and I was second in New England. And I remember this match, this bench meet. I did 440, weighing 220. So I was still putting on weight. And I was second best in New England. And it's like all of a sudden I'm getting interviewed by these papers and stuff. And I said, fuck hockey. This is a way to go, man. You're getting a build and you're lifting and you're strong as a fuck. And I knew I had more in me because I was just, of course, I was off the juice. And then the next year I did 520.
How often would you bench in those days?
I won the collegiates, and then I got invited to from the muscle magazines to the Hawaiian International Powerlifting Championships for 3 years in a row. That culminated to the 705 world record. And then I got drafted with Vince. I would have gone with Ted Turner, but he was too late. And to be truthful with you, Hannibal, at the time, Vince was more global, I think, than Ted Turner, don't you think?
Yeah, and they didn't make stars as well because Kazmaier went with Turner, and he didn't do quite as well as you.
And I love Bill, but we tried to get an angle together in Stampede, and it just didn't work. He just didn't want to sell. He had this thing in his head, I'm the world's strongest man. He wouldn't sell. And it sucked because if you don't sell and you get that ego, no one's going to buy it, And they even gave him a big push down there, but he couldn't fucking really throw a punch. And he couldn't move that fast. I mean,
what's he up to these days? I
think he should have stayed in there longer, but I don't know. He got disenchanted because he didn't want to put the work in. You got to put the work in,
Didn't he have like a lot of heat in the Stampede dressing room, and they were ribbing him and stuff?
How did you know that? From Mock and Sing? From Shaw, right?
Bruce Hart told me.
Shaw?
Bruce Hart told me that he was getting heat. Brian Pillman and all them.
Yeah, no shit. You had Bruce on. Yeah, Bruce was like the agent for the Stampede, and he was in there. And I think the science behind Bruce was he was trying to knock Bill down just so he'd be one of the boys. Forget this ego. But Bill used to go in the locker room with this big ego, and he would talk a good game, but, you get him out there, he just wouldn't fucking sell really, and he couldn't move that good. I thought he would move good because he lost a lot of weight, but he didn't put enough time into it, man. I mean, I think what he should have done was stayed up there longer or gone to another federation, whether it's Kansas City or Memphis or something, like I did with World Class. And that's where you even get better, because you're working every fucking night.
Mitch Seinfeld, I don't know if you remember him, but he says
he was like the youngest promoter, wasn't he?
He was. He wrestled for him in '87 in Brooklyn, he says.
Good guy. Is he on there now?
Yeah.
Mitch, how you doing, man? I remember you, Mitch. Youngest fucking promoter. I love that. And I remember Mitch telling me this. What a memory. He would set up between Brody and Abdullah, and they tried to fuck him, the poor kid. They tried to fuck him, take the money and not show up. That happened a few times, right, Mitch? I remember that you were bitching about that. And here you are trying to carve out a reputation as a promoter, and you would set up house shows. You did a lot of work. You had a good business mind. And these motherfuckers, they tried to fuck you over. But hey, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're doing. What are you doing now, Mitch? Ask him what he's doing.
Mitch, let us know what you're doing now. I think he sells. He goes around to Costco's and stuff and sells this gadget for cutting things up.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I'd always knew he's going to stay in business because he had the mind back then. It's
But
nice
yeah.
to hear you, Mitch. You're a good guy. Good guy, man. I remember those house shows. Son of a bitch.
Do you have any memories about Haku, who's become like legendary now as the greatest
Haku
fighter?
was great. We always got along. And there's a guy you don't want to fuck with. I'll tell you this one thing. Haku was supposed to do a job for Jake the Snake when he first went in. And I remember he said, fuck you, Jake. You're not going to put that snake on me. And he was serious. He looked right at Jake and he said, no fucking snake. I don't want that fucking snake on me. And Jake didn't do the snake or nothing. It was an easy fucking like a count out, obviously, or something. But he was a great wrestler, a real good heart, a true Samoan like the other boys out there. And he was on tour with me also in Australia. Haku's a good guy. And his kid played football, too, when I talked to him at a signing about 10 years ago.
His kids are all in WWE now. I don't know if you know that. They're all in WWE. No, his kids, they all are wrestlers in WWE now.
No shit.
Yeah,
well,
they're doing well for themselves. And
by
by the way, Mitch says he's still a pitch man.
I love it. It's in your blood, right, Mitch?
and someone else wanted to know about Andre the Giant, if you have any stories about him. And
Nah, he kind of kept to himself, but I did feel that sometimes I've heard him just talk to belligerent to people. Like he wanted people to get me some ice, get me this, get me that. You know, he wasn't nice. Maybe his back. I know his back was in great, great pain. And a good friend of mine who passed also, Tim White, thank God he was taking care of Andre. So I can't even perceive and imagine how much pain he was in his back, because you could tell he was in back pain when they had him in '87 at the Silverdome, the Pontiac Silverdome. And yet he still came through for Vince and everybody else. So I got nothing but kudos on him. And then after WrestleMania 2, after the Battle Royal, he went around, because he won that, and he went around, he shook everyone's hand. So no, he's a true gentleman. And I don't think people have the conception of how much pain that man was in from that growth deficiency. I don't want to call it deficiency, but the pituitary gland was just still working, and it would impinge, the bones would impinge on his spinal cord, and you could just see it. He had to be sitting down a lot. So I'm sure his last few years weren't that comfortable, according to Tim too, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, Tim, I think we may have lost Ted for a second. And there's a couple more fan questions I will get to. Hopefully Ted gets back on. One of the nicest wrestlers, but I think he may have accidentally shut his camera. He'll be back, folks. The original interview I did with Ted, that link is in the description as well. And May the 3rd, he's doing a signing at his gym. I think he might be coming back now. arcidifitnessequipment.com. I do remember he donated a couple very large amounts of money to superstar Billy Graham when Billy Graham was on death's door there. So he's definitely a really nice guy. By the way, Valerie Coleman, Billy Graham's wife, is very upset with Dark Side of the Ring. She's did not like how they portrayed him. Ted, I think you got to log out and log back in if you can still hear me. A family friend contacted me today and told me that Valerie's pretty upset. I'm gonna message Ted right now, see if we can get back on. Hold on, sorry guys. This happens when you're live. Oh, here he's back. He's back.
Thank you. You know what sucks is I got the phone, and when some bastard calls, it cuts everything else out. How about now? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Cool.
Yeah.
You were saying you got some bad news today, Hannibal? What's up, man? I saw you talking.
Oh, no, I was just saying that I guess they did a Dark Side of the Ring on Billy Graham. I don't know if you've seen that Dark Side of the Ring series.
No, I didn't see that one good, but I've been watching it. I think it's very interesting. I think that's a great gimmick. And it's a true gimmick, but what's his face? What the hell's that wrestler? He's behind the whole thing. He does all the production and everything else.
I think The Rock.
Yeah, but there's another one too that played the guitar. Jacoby, what the hell?
Oh, Chris Jericho.
Jericho, yeah.
Apparently, Billy Graham's wife. I didn't see it, but they did one on him last night, and she contacted me this morning saying she's very upset with how he was portrayed. Hey, another guy they're doing a Dark Side of the Ring on is Billy Jack Haynes. Did you hear about everything?
What's so dark about him? He seemed like a decent guy.
Oh, you don't know that he killed his wife recently? No. I guess he's in jail. He's going to be in jail.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow, man, I'm being stunned in my fucking chair right here. He killed his old lady. Any reason why? Was she fucking around?
His reasoning is, in his mind, she was having Alzheimer's and she would have wanted to die, but he's getting another call. He'll be back, guys. I guess he's using it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now you're there again, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just keep doing this. I hope you don't mind.
No, he thought it was a mercy killing. That's going to be his defense. But the problem is she didn't say it on record or anything. So.
Oh, yeah.
And the family's denying
evidence
that.
Leading so that it was a legitimate, authorized, consensuary death. I hear you. I hear you. Wow.
The interesting thing is he called me 45 minutes before he killed her, but sadly I did not answer the phone.
What do you think he wanted? To do a fucking podcast?
I really don't know. Because he would always call me and
shoot the shit with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's pretty good, Hannibal. You turned out to be a good friend with the workers, man.
I just wish I could have answered, and I wonder if he was going through some type of panic attack or something and just needed someone to talk to. But yeah,
Did you ever see him doing signings recently in the last 2 years at all?
Well, he's been in jail the last 2 years, but I've known him. I've known him for about 5 years before he was in jail.
Yeah.
He was all right, but he definitely had concussion issues.
Now, what's that from? Wrestling or from football and shit?
I think boxing.
He was into boxing.
Yeah.
But did he not portray the really Billy Jack Haynes from the movie? I loved it.
Yeah.
That was a great fucking gimmick he had, man. He played that calm, cool, collected, but, don't fuck with me look, just like Billy Jack in the movie. He really looked like the fucking character. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not someone you would have wanted to fuck with back in those days.
I don't think so. You know who was another guy like you didn't want it, you didn't think, but I'm finding out he was a tough fuck. Was B. Brian Blair.
He beat up
together in Jersey. I didn't realize this, but he went fucking knockdown, drag out with Matt Bourne, and Matt was gonna bite his nose, and he bit his lip off first. It was fucking insane. The first time I heard of it, and Flair saw the whole thing. Flair said that was the best barroom fight he's ever seen.
Wow. Because Matt Bourne was pretty crazy, wasn't he?
Brian Blair, yeah.
Did you know Matt Bourne at all? Or?
Yeah, I knew Matt. And you know something? Matt was pretty smart. He was kind of intelligent. He went University of Portland or Portland State. He did the shot put. He was really good. He was top 10 NCAA in the East and the West Coast. Of course, Tony Bourne, his dad, was a wrestler. And but I used to talk with him. It'd be like Jekyll and Hyde. Like we could talk and he'd throw some pretty intellectual lines out there. But then if you get him in the coke and stuff, he just want to rumble. He was angry. He was angry, like, yeah. And I guess he got pissed because he started missing shots when he was Doink. I thought Doink was a great gimmick for him. But because you lose shots, like Tony Atlas, Vince don't want that. And he got replaced by another Doink. So ever since then, had this animosity against Vince. But he brought it upon himself because he did the drugs, you know.
People say Rick Rude was really tough too. Did you know him at all?
No, I knew him a little, but he had left when I had gotten down there, right about the time. But yeah, he was in Paul Bearer's stable down there, Percy Pringle's stable. And I remember, this is what I heard, and I heard this from Percy, that he went to one of those, he was a bouncer in the same town as the Road Warriors were, at some place, Beefcake Mamas or some place I think in Grovinsdale, Illinois, where they all grew up, Robbinsdale, Illinois. And he had just gotten out of the Navy or something, but he was ripped. He was always ripped. And he had a fight with some guy. He knocked him out with one slap. Did you ever hear that one?
I heard he was known for slapping people and knocking them out. So,
Yeah.
Apparently, the rumor is Hogan didn't want to work with him because he was too stiff. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, but you know something? They could rank on people like him, and they ranked heavily on Hellwig, the Warrior, and even the Road Warriors, because they were stiff, but too fucking bad, you know? They sold the places, you know, they made money for the promoters. So there's that jealousy about the stiffness and stuff. They said I was stiff a lot. Well, yeah, no shit. I was in there after 5 months of fucking training. What do you expect? And I got better and better and better, but you have to still be a little stiff as a muscle guy, or else it looks phony, or else it looks fucking phony. And they could rank and piss on these guys, usually the wrestlers that never lifted weights. I don't know about Hogan. Hogan, he looked great all the time, but they should have learned to suck it up more, because I don't care what they say. The Road Warriors and Hellwig, they always made them money. They were always a draw. And that's what counts. That's the bottom fucking line. Yeah, they were stiff, but you know, I'd rather have someone stiff that looks the fucking part than someone who's really muscular but can't fucking do anything. It looks like shit. I'd rather have the opposite. Any promoter will tell you that too.
I agree. And how was Hulk Hogan in the back? Was he
was
nice
a good guy. Always, yeah. He knew someday I was going to work with him, so he was always just shooting the shit. You know, it's funny when you ask about these people, even Ray Hernandez, all these guys, we'd all end up in the town we're going to work that night. And I remember I surmised once in the gym, we're all in there working out. And I'm thinking, you know something? If it wasn't for Vince, we'd all be just a bunch of fucking gym rats. It's the truth. It's the truth. Because they all love working out, you know, the ones that really had the gimmicks for the body, you know. And we'd all be in the same gyms, helping each other, spotting each other and shit. And that was pretty cool.
Were you surprised Hogan never wrestled you? Because you would have been a good opponent for him.
Yeah, I think I would have been. I think what Vince had in mind, I was going to come back heel and wrestle against Hogan, but it never happened because Peoria was having such a good run, and I didn't want to wait too long down in World Class. I get into the vitamin line, the Muscle and Fitness. I had my own vitamin, amino acid line, protein line, and I was getting in GNCs and everything. So I was doing tours, lifting to stay in the stores, and I was in like a lot of stores and retail, health food stores and stuff. I was making as much money as like the top 10 wrestlers in the WWE. So, you know, that's okay. That's okay, because I didn't want to keep waiting down in World Class. Yeah. So that's kind of how my career ended, you know, but it moved on to better things, you know, it moved on to good things. I don't regret it at all.
Your promos were great in World Class. I
Aren't
saw
they
some of
awesome?
them. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. People should go look those up because you really, from WWE to World Class,
Oh, it's
your promo
different. You can see
skills
the
is.
confidence in me, a heel. It was the balls. Yeah, I loved it. But I remember Vince telling me, he says, you know, Ted, you got to learn as a face first. And even Atlas said that too. You got to start it as a face because if you don't start it as a face, you don't understand the psychology and the premonition of the next move and the painting of the story. You have to start out as a face, and it makes so much sense because that's the foundation, man. You know, that's the fucking foundation.
Sean's wondering if you ever wrestled in Peoria, Illinois, and any memories of that town.
I did a seminar right after I set the world record in Peoria, Illinois. What's his name?
Sean.
Sean or John?
Sean.
Sean.
Sean
I don't know
Moody.
if you remember this, but in 1985, after I came back from Hawaii International Powerlifting Championships, I did a Peoria was celebrating, I think, their 200th year or 150th year celebration of the city's origin. And they had me do a bench press exhibition. I did like 10 reps with 500 pounds. I could do that like sleepwalking. It was great, though. They treated me like royalty. I wonder if you were there, Sean. Were you there? Did you hear about it? I mean, how old were you then? That was 85.
Yeah, if he says anything, I'll let you know. But as far as your acting career, I was just looking at on Wikipedia all of your
Yeah.
acting jobs. Like it's incredible, everyone you've worked with. Who were some of the coolest celebrities you've met in acting?
Yeah. Well, have to say tops is Wahlberg, De Niro, and then I was on the set with on the Ray Donovan with the director there because I was playing a guy when Ray Donovan was a younger guy, and I was selling baseball and sports paraphernalia. A guy from Boston, so it was a great fucking casting thing they did, and that was a great series that I was in. I had that, so working with the director with that. But as far as actors, I'd say Wahlberg, Christian Bale, Melissa Leo. I mean those scenes in the fight they were fucking great, and it was easy, man, because I had done so much preparation. I didn't just jump. I didn't just say this Ted. He's in the fight and now he's acting. They don't understand the 50 some odd movies I did that were like low budget that never made anywhere, student films that never made anywhere, and then you just use that to learn. But yeah, I would say Melissa Leo, Donnie Wahlberg also was good in. We had some good times in Blue Bloods. That was cool. And then of course Mark, Christian Bale, and then De Niro, and then some guys from The Sopranos. Big Pussy. We lived in we lived in France for a month filming that thing. The movie called The Family, and I was part of the hit squad that was going after De Niro as a hitman. And that was a great fucking movie. That turned out to be great. I had some good. I was in there like a lot. It was very, very good supporting role.
How was the
And
food over there in France?
oh, it was great. It was great. And you know something? The people are great. I mean, they knew we were out there making the food and making the movie. But little side note, we were staying, and the director is a world famous director, Luc Besson. We were staying at he actually owned like a chateau, like a castle, I guess, because there's a lot of those there. And he had bought it up. And I stayed in one of his stone houses, like he had for the actors, all these different suites. And then he had what they call the restaurant in the middle of the compound. You got to picture this, Hannibal. It's like a little kingdom. It's like something out of the French feudal system. He owned it, 600 acres. People get humped there. He rode his ATVs there. They had a great gym there, and that's where the actors were, I'm down the street, down like 50 yards away. De Niro's living in there, and Michelle Pfeiffer's like down the thing. So we just got to know each other because every day we'd be working, and that was a great experience. But we went to Normandy because that wasn't that far away, and we had to go back there twice. Me, Anthony Desio, Mark Bulger, Big Pussy, Okay, Vincent Pastore, and then there was another one, Anthony Mangione. We went down to Normandy, and that's where we became a nation, and that's where that big battle was. I mean, the invasion. We had to go back there twice. No shit, because we're going there. There's so much to see from the cliffs where the Rangers, our Rangers, U.S. Rangers, were climbing up on the side and getting nailed like ducks from the pillboxes from the Germans. But they just keep coming and coming and coming, eventually till they took them out. It's just like Private Ryan. That's probably the best depiction that I could see of an invasion of Normandy right there. And then we went to the graveyard, the cemetery, all these crosses, and you can't help but get emotional there, because it's like they show it right on there. All the people that died that day, a lot of kids. I mean, these guys were like 16, 17, 18 years old because they lied about their age. And a lot of the French too, you know. And I remember I was with my buddies and walking in the field, and I go, God, do you feel that? Like, did you just feel that? Like it was like your heart sunk, but it's like very peaceful and very solemn. Nothing evil, nothing angry, just a very holy, solemn place. I just felt that, and they felt it too. And you know, we said our prayers and we just walked around. But yeah, that's hallowed ground, man. That must be like Gettysburg. I'd love to go to Gettysburg. You probably get the same feeling there. 50,000 fucking guys died there, you know?
Yeah, they say Gettysburg is very haunted.
Yeah,
apparently.
I'm into that too. Like, it's like the spirits that can't cross over, but sometimes they see troops in the middle of the night in formation, you know, in Gettysburg, and you just can't quite get to them because they're always like another 50, 100 yards ahead, but it's like, almost like time warps, right? And I'm sure that happens over there in Normandy. But yeah, we had to go back there twice just for the reverence of paying homage to these great men that died there. You know, I mean, that's you got to go there once in your life. And I was so lucky because we were out there for a whole month filming. So that was unbelievable. That was right around the time we came back, and that's when Sandy hit, and that was fucked up. You know, a lot of my friends down in Long Island, they lost their places, you know, from that fucking that hurricane, you know, flooding and everything. But no, that was a great time. Good payday too. I mean, a month of acting, can't beat that. SAG wages.
And you get residuals, I guess, too, from all these jobs.
Yeah, I get residuals for everything. I mean, not as much now because the time has passed, but they re-up them again. So it's good. It gets your name out. And then I just had my knees replaced about a year and a half ago because I was almost like a cripple. I couldn't move around. So I'm just getting back into the auditioning again now and the casting in LA and New York now. Feels good to be back. But I'll tell you, it's amazing. I'm so glad I had the physical therapy. I got the equipment here with my store, and I was like an animal after I had my replacements, my knee replacements. I said, I ain't going to get frozen knee. If you don't do enough working out, opening, closing of the joint, flexion and extension, your joint will freeze.
Yeah.
Will freeze up because your body rejects it. I said, no fucking way. I ain't never going back. And I just worked my ass off. And I'm running a mile now in like 12 minutes, which is good for me because I'm 245.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Erich's wondering your thoughts on these new bench shirts at powerlifters like Jimmy.
Yeah, I think it's a crime. If someone's saying they got the raw world record, it's got to be without the bench shirt. It's got to be without the elbow wraps and without the wrist wraps. And I'm the only one that still has the real raw world record in the 275-pound weight class, which I did 650 in 1983. And also in 1984, I did 667. That's probably on the YouTube channel too. And I did it 3 reps. The first 2, I went up all the way, but I went up uneven extension. And then they granted me a 3rd attempt. Again, no wrist wraps, no elbow wraps, no bench shirt. And I smoked up the 666, the last one. But yeah, I think it's wrong. I wore what they tried to call it a bench shirt, but if you look at the tapes on YouTube, when I set the 705, first man to bench 700, everyone's saying that doesn't even look equipped. My arms aren't out like this. I mean, literally in those equipped shirts, you're frozen like this. You need like 800 pounds to bring it down to your chest. It's just the cheating most fucking thing. My shirt was equivalent to like an Under Armour shirt. It just kept my shoulders warm. So a lot of people consider that raw that I did, because I didn't have any wrist wraps or elbow wraps on that, and just that flimsy shirt. And also the big thing is the raw, the completely raw. I call it completely raw because you might get some guy that says, yeah, but this guy did raw 740 pounds. And then I ask him, I go, did he have elbow wraps? They say no. Did he have a bench shirt? No. I go, did he have wrist wraps? And they say, yeah. Wrist wraps, they add 10% to your bench. So, I mean, I blow these guys away still 35, 40 years after. So fuck them. No, but I'm saying the bench shirt is not it should be outlawed because it's not a true strength test of strength. People want to know what you could do in the bench, just like the old days. What can you do in the bench without wrist wraps, without elbow wraps, without those ridiculous bench shirts? And that's your true strength. I think the general populace would agree, and they would probably appreciate it more. That's why the sport's not even on TV anymore, because there are so many aids that the general populace, and you look at it from their point of view, they're watching it. Okay, what's that thing he's wearing? Why is his arm straight out, locked out like that? And he's doing a bench press. Is that really him? You know? So when you have questions like that, it just kills the sport. What's the kid's name again? Erich?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Erich, that's my feeling, you know?
What do you think about wrist straps for deadlifting or shrugs?
If you're doing it for training, the deadlift straps, do it. But don't go for a world record. It's got to be your own wrist power holding it. Okay. Yeah. If you're doing working out, shrugs and partial deadlifts and full deadlifts, and you're going for reps, do it. Do it for your training. But if you're going for a world record, you know, you should have just nothing, just chalk in your hand, no wrist wraps. Of course, you don't need elbow wraps. And that's it, man. And a belt. That's it, a belt. Everyone needs a belt. But,
someone's asking here, what's your worst injury from weightlifting and wrestling?
Good call. I used to do a lot of behind the neck press back then. And I would find out that sometimes if I was working too much wrestling and press slamming guys and doing behind the neck press once a week, and I'd go heavy. I'd go like, 335 to 350. I had the world record at still have it. I don't think anyone's done it. Standing behind the neck press, 375 for 5. Standing strict behind the neck press. No one's ever done that because they do them sitting down and they do even less. But I would get a lot of shoulder inflammation. So I was smart about it. As soon as I got that, I'd throw the ice on like 2-3 times a night and it would go away. But if I had the inflammation and I didn't do anything about it, I would have popped a tendon easy. I would have popped a muscle easy because it's such a peculiar position, press slamming somebody over your head, and then you're doing behind the neck press. That's a lot of stress on your rotary cuff. So I was really good about that. Betrayed
by Sin is wondering any memories of Roddy Piper. You had that famous Piper's Pit.
Yeah. People talk about that. Just for the record, I was not coked out, okay? As everyone knows, the TV tapings were held in Poughkeepsie in 2 hockey rinks, okay? And I was up in Piper's Pit. Last second, they told me, you got to go to Piper's Pit. I'm thinking, okay. And I don't know if it was a rib for the guys, but nobody ever told me it was in the other hockey rink. So I literally had to run 2 hockey rink lengths to get there. Right when they said, okay, we got Ted Arcidi, the world's strongest man. And I'm out of fucking breath and everything. What I should have done was just said, fuck it, I'm going to miss it. Because nobody told me where to go. And that's why I'm like seem out of breath and stuff. But it was good doing that thing with him because he always gave me good play. Piper, man. It's sad that he left, 10 years ago now?
Yeah. About 10 years ago.
Man. What a great worker. And God, can he rap on that mic. He was just, that guy knew so much about the psychology. And he could put you over too, because he'd even put me over in a way that made him look good and made me look good. It was great. But the feuds he had with Snooker and Hogan, I mean, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I don't think the wrestling is like that anymore, is it?
No, it's not as memorable. The feuds aren't as memorable for sure.
Hmm.
Rick Howard wants to know if you have any memories of Hercules, another guy. I don't think he made it out of his 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, on the road, he was missing shots, but I worked out with him. Good guy, out of Florida, and he was in the Air Force too. I found out, and he married his high school sweetheart. They had a bunch of kids, and I don't know what happened. I know he was being pushed. He was in one of the main events with Hogan. Man, can he throw a punch? He throw a punch, he can decapitate you the way he threw it. It was phenomenal. He could work like a bastard, but then he started missing shots. Or I don't know. What's the story with him? How did he end up kind of falling from grace out of Vince's sights, Hannibal?
According to Brutus Beefcake, opiates. That's what Brutus told me. He had an opiate addiction.
Wow, opiates between him and Mr. Perfect, huh?
And I'm not. Luckily for me, I'm not even that familiar with what they are. Other than I think kratom is an opiate. Have you heard of this kratom stuff that everybody's taking?
No, but I thought everybody was on Xanax back then and Coke, and that fucks you up. They had the drug to get you up, and they had the drug to put you to sleep. But as I said earlier in the show, you take the Xanax, yeah, it puts you out, but you don't get the deep REM sleep, so your heart doesn't get that regenerative rest it needs. And you get scar tissue. Your heart can't take it after a while. And I think that's how that Spanish wrestler died there in the locker room recently, about 10, 15 years ago. What the hell's his name? He had the belt. Guerrero.
Oh, yeah, Eddie Guerrero, yeah.
Yeah, he just died, you know? He died.
He was addicted to painkillers, right? Pills,
yeah, but
I believe.
The painkillers, they would mask those also. They take the Xanax because they wanted to go to sleep. And you can't let a tablet make you go to sleep. It's a time bomb. Your heart is not getting that rest. So you end up getting a heart attack. You end up getting a heart attack, man. And that's how he died. He died like just walking out of the bathroom, you know?
This is a good question. Was there any other wrestlers that were close to as strong as you in the 80s?
The closest ones were the road where was Animal. He did a legit 620, I think, but that was the closest. But then again, I was a professional. You know, I ate, drank, and slept the shit. But yeah, as far as him getting a bench while he's working, he did a legit 620. He was a powerhouse, Jimmy. And I didn't realize this, but I was told he was very athletic in high school. He was a diver. He was like an Olympic diver. He had really good flexibility and stuff. I didn't realize that. Yeah, Jimmy Laurinaitis. And then his kid became a pro ball player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he had the best bench.
Yeah, his kid had a good career, I believe. He's retired now, but yeah.
Scott Norton, he had a great bench, but I don't think anyone was doing 7. Not with without wrist wraps and elbow wraps and a bench shirt. They weren't doing that like me. So
Scott told me his shoulders are shot now from all those.
Well, I understand. I feel for him. He should try to get the shoulders replaced, and it makes all the difference in the world. I wouldn't be able to bench anything. I'm repping now. I had the shoulders replaced a year ago, and I'm repping like I could do reps of 200 pounds, which is good for me, you know. But yeah, my recommendation is that the shoulders start to hurt and the cortisone shots don't work. Same thing goes for the knees and the hip. Get the replacements. The replacements today, the prosthetics, they're made so well, you don't have to take them and then you replace them again in 20 years. These things last for fucking ever. And they tell you can run on these things now, as long as it's on dirt or like a turf, you know. But I'd say get the thing replaced. Go through the hell of the first 4 months, but you're not going to have any pain and you look like a human being again. Because there's nothing worse than seeing someone who was a good lifter. And a lot of wrestlers are like this too. They just don't want to get this. They don't want to go under the knife. And you can't blame them. they used to have great shoulders because wrestlers would have great square, we call them Roman shoulders, so they could press people, you know. When they lose that ability, the first thing that goes down is their shoulders. And it's demoralizing. So all they can do is curls and pull-ups, stuff with their lats. And you can tell because they got like the rolled over look. Their delts look good and everything, but their shoulders are skinny. And I say when it gets like that, get the replacements, man, especially today. It's definitely worth it. How old's Scotty now, Hannibal?
I'll look it up, but while I'm looking,
like 60, right?
He's got to be in his 60s.
Scotty, if you hear me, get your
63. 63.
Yeah, and tell him this too if you see him, Hannibal. Tell him the type of surgery I had. It's different than the prosthetic they put in for like older guys that just, you know, they do household work and shit like that. This is for people who still want to train. The procedure's called a run and ream. That's all he needs to know. Look it up. It's the best way. You can still, they put in the stem and the shoulder ball, and they line it up, and they hollow out a little of your scapula, so it rides in there too, and that is awesome. It allows you to still work out as much as you want. Nothing's gonna break. Run and ream. It's for active people. It's for athletes. Run and ream. Anybody out there that's listening to this, that's the best shoulder replacement technique.
Good to know. Matt is wondering about the big event where you fought Tony Gurria in Toronto.
I was supposed to wrestle Atlas. He fucking never showed up. That was fun because I was turning heel then. That was a big-ass crowd, too. That was a real big-ass crowd.
That was the record wrestling crowd to that point in time, I believe. 66.
Yeah, before the Pontiac Silverdome, which I guess they just tore down, right? The Silverdome.
Yeah, they just blew it up, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple people on here wondering, how would you rate Dino Bravo's strength? Did you ever see him in the gym?
Not that good. Not that good. I think the best bench he got, because they tried to gimmick it. And, you know, even as God has it planned, even with the gimmick weights, he failed. With Jesse giving him the lift off in the spot, he failed. It's stark hilarity. It was hilarious watching that thing. His best bench is maybe 550, which is good, but it's not no fucking 700, that's for sure. And what's sad is about him, I never got to know him, but I guess he got involved with the underground up in Canada, the mafia, Hannibal, and he was selling illegal cigarettes to the Indians, and they didn't like that. He was on somebody else's turf, so that wasn't good. And then he just got shot. Someone who knew him. And this was around, Paul told me this when Paul was working in my store here when he was younger, before I got into wrestling. Someone knew him. He was sitting in his living room watching TV like he was relaxed, and he was just blown away by a machine gun. So it must have been someone who knew him, and they put the job on him. There was an amount on his head because he was in the wrong territory. He was, you know, he shouldn't have been, I guess, selling cigarettes. What do they call that? Illegal cigarettes, you know, trading that where it's all underground. He was doing that, and it was in someone else's territory. Yeah, there's a mob up there too, you know.
Oh yeah, big time in Quebec. Last fan
kind of tied up with them too.
Yeah. I think he was married. He married into it or something. Vic Catroni. He was his uncle. Okay. Was his wife's
the Italian, yeah. And he would have had a good run too. I mean, he was a decent worker, but that cut it short, man. That was horrific. Apparently, that's what it's called. Contraband.
Contraband cigarettes. Yeah. Last fan question I'll ask here from Rick. He wants to know your memories of Corporal Kirshner and Paul Orndorff.
Paul was great. I wish he was alive today because he'd come up to me in the locker room because you shoot the shit a lot in the locker room and at the gyms. And I made Orndorff laugh his ass off. I go, you know, Paul, this fucking federation, Vince's federation, he's got everybody, every fucking character but an Eskimo. He pissed his pants laughing at that. He always brought that up when he saw me too, you know. And he was a big hunter. He loved hunting. with a bow. And he also was in business. He bought a couple bowling alleys. The guy was good. Now, that was a tough guy, too, because I heard he got in a fight with Atlas when they were at Mid-South together. And he bit Atlas's fucking his lower ear off, you know.
They like to bite back then, those guys.
Yeah, bite.
They're vicious.
Yeah. I guess that's crazy, you know. But, and then Kirshner, he was good. He was a good guy. I don't know. They didn't give him a push. I know he got the LJN doll. When did he leave and why? And is he still around?
No, he died a few years ago, and I think I think he had his personal demons, from what I understand.
What does this tell you about this carny life, Hannibal?
It did. Oh, I'm well aware of the bad side of it, and I'm trying to stay away from that. I'll try and use guys like you as a role model. The problem is you grow up looking at some of these guys as heroes.
It's hackneyed prose, so to speak. But I owe it to my parents. I mean, they said, you know, get into it, but if you're going to do it, whether it's acting, lifting, wrestling, work hard at it. And I did that. And luckily I had, you know, who was a good model too, the Briscoe brothers. Well, while they were wrestling, they also had their auto parts store, and they were into real estate. And that to me is like pretty ballsy. These guys that were great wrestlers and good tag team, and they used that same tenacity and their resources and their ambition and their endurance to make their businesses work. So I think you got to be more than what you say, one-dimensional. And I think that helps you ahead. Because if you just depend on wrestling, that's where you get the head games, man. And that's where a lot of these guys, they ride that wave and it's the balls, but they can't take the fucking crash, you know?
Yeah, that's true. So May the 3rd is your big signing that you have coming up.
May 3rd, yeah, Manchester, New Hampshire. Weightlifters Warehouse right here in downtown in the Mill Yard. And it's free signing. I have no problem giving free signings away and free raffles for 2 of the packaged wrestling dolls that if I sign them and you put them on the internet, I think they go for $2,000 right now. I just saw in the other day, Hannibal, I saw a Bruno Sammartino, and I know he passed, but there was a signed one in the package still. They want $8,000. So I'll tell you, man, so much for the ones with the package. Try to get those. That's like a fucking kid's college support, you know?
Yeah. So you got your hands on one that's still in the package.
I got a few. Yeah,
Okay,
I got a few. And Vince gave me a bunch too when they came out, you know? And I still think that was the best doll. These other dolls they got now, they look like shit. They're just, I don't know. They're too plasticky. They don't look as solid. And we were wrestlers. We looked the part, you know?
Yeah, those ones you could bash them together and stuff, and they wouldn't break.
Exactly. Actually, the best ones are the first ones that came out. If you can get a package of those with Andre Stud or Hogan in the package, that's going to be worth a shitload of money. But everybody just opened those up when they came out because they were new in the scene. But let me ask you this: what did you think of Wrestlemania?
I only saw highlights of it. I wasn't really into it this year.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I saw some of it. I saw Paul Levesque. I saw Triple H's induction, and I'm glad he mentioned me. That was pretty cool. And but I think it's kind of diluted now. I don't know. You don't have it over 2 days.
Yeah, I don't think it was worth.
Time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a long, and it's a lot of money if you're paying $10,000 for front row seats 2 nights. That's $20,000.
Yeah. I don't know. I think.
But yeah, the 2 days to me that they should have all the best of the best all one night, because I heard it didn't even make the top 10 Netflix shows on either night.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Hey, yeah. Speaking of Netflix, I think my one of my movies is still on there. One of the independent ones that I did. It was almost like my breaking out sort of film. It's called Donald Cried, like Donald Trump. Donald Cried.
Okay.
And we went to South by Southwest. We won a lot of awards there for the movie celebration they have down there, like kind of like Sundance, but South by Southwest. I think that's bigger. And that was cool, but that's still on Netflix. I'm getting a nice check for that. Are you shitting me? So there was 10 shows that had more play than fucking WWE, huh?
Yeah, and that reminds me, for WrestleMania 2, for that Battle Royal, how did it work with the football players? Were they actually trained, or was that a practice match?
What do you think? What do you think? Did you see it?
It seemed a little awkward.
It was, but it just felt cool because you could still rumble with them. And just being out there, throwing meat around, punching, holding guys, pressing guys, it was almost like an exhibition for me. And I loved it because here's the whole fucking world looking at 20 people in a ring. I mean, it was crazy, all the buildup and everything. I mean, there's another great thing Vince did. Put me in Wrestlemania 4 months out of fucking wrestling school. That is unbelievable, you know?
Yeah.
That was a good thing how they simulcast that with 2 other LA, Chicago, and New York. That was a mastermind. I still think the Bundy Hogan thing was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. And then, of course, you can't forget Uncle Elmer against Adonis. That's where Adonis, he looked like a toy. I'm just amazed. I'm still amazed, even though he's gone. That guy could take a bunch. That's athletic, man. Him and Heening, man. Athleticism. That's really athleticism.
Yeah.
And don't forget, fucking Triple H. He could take some bumps too, man.
There you go. Well, we're gonna get that message to him.
Thank you. Give him my cell number. You got my cell number, right?
I don't, but you could email it to me.
I'll text it to you. Yeah. So anyway, you guys are great. Thanks for the questions, and maybe we'll see you in a couple of years. All right, but stay tuned. I'm doing my thing, and I hope you're doing your thing too. Stay healthy, guys.
Today I have a rare interview with none other than powerlifter, actor, former WWE Stampede, and world-class championship wrestling wrestler, Ted Arcidi. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. How we doing, guys?
Everyone's doing great. You look very similar. Obviously not as thick, but your hair and your face hasn't changed all that much.
I got the tail. I got the noggin. I don't know. I can still do some damage, right?
Definitely. Actually, you look like you can beat up most of today's wrestlers.
Wow. That says a lot about today's wrestlers. They're all skinny chickens.
Have you watched it in recent years? There's not as many good guys.
My friend Triple H, Paul, I was watching for a while with him, but I think that's the last of the good size ones. I mean, they just like high flyers now and doing goofy stuff. No hardcore lifters, not like before.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're afraid of, everyone juiced, but even now, if they juice, they don't work out as hard as we do, you know? I mean, we had it down. We were the generation, man.
I think they even allow testosterone replacement now for people that have prescriptions in WWE.
Right. So they can get the shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure
it does help. It's a natural part of your body, testosterone. But I don't know. They don't. They're afraid to train heavy.
How did you become friends with Triple H?
I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire now, and he's from Nashua. And when I was towards the tail end of wrestling, I had my store here, Weightlifters Warehouse, and I had my product line, my vitamin supplement line in Joe Weider's magazine. So he used to come over here and help me with the supplements and stuff. And he was opening up a Gold's Gym with some buddies the next town over. So we became fast friends. This is before he got into wrestling. And then he asked me my thoughts about him getting into wrestling. I kind of steered him toward Walter Kowalski. And the rest is history. But yeah, Paul and I go way back, like 89.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with him here and
there? I haven't, not in several years. He's just so hard to get a hold of, and he's so busy. But I'm sure I will. He used to pop by once in a while. But he's
amazing that he might be the one to take over with Stephanie once Vince passes.
Yeah. Imagine that. From outstanding wrestler to booker to like main control promoter of the whole thing. I mean, but they couldn't have picked a better guy. He loves the business. He's into it, you know, and that's his life. He always loved it.
What was he like in those younger days?
He was a bodybuilder, and he really tried to make it in bodybuilding, and he did get some level of success in the New England area. Teenage championship, things like that, state championship. And then I think once he got taller, he realized, because he was like 6'4", you know, that he could make something with the wrestling, because he was always a wrestling mark in the beginning anyway, you know. But yeah, Paul, but he was a worker though. He even promoted bodybuilding contests, and he ran the sales and all that stuff for Gold's Gym in Nashua and their other locations. He met Flair and these other guys when he flew down for a Gold's Gym seminar. They happened to have those guys speaking, but Paul was really avid in the business end of the gyms. He promoted them. He got them started. Memberships, advertising. Guy's a hell of a businessman. Before, a lot of people don't know that. He was really, really smart kid. Smart kid, very resourceful. He, like I said, he promoted bodybuilding shows too. Kid had a shit together.
I understand you grew up in Buffalo, New York. Could you tell us a bit about your childhood and the sports you played growing up?
Yeah, I was there probably till I was about 8. And then I moved to Massachusetts. I got more into my sports in Massachusetts. Street hockey, baseball. Everybody did Little League and baseball. And far cry from lifting weights. Didn't even remotely think of that. I was just into like everything. I loved fishing, outdoors, but baseball and ice hockey. And I was good at ice hockey too. I wanted to play pro. I wasn't good enough to play pro, but I made all the all-star teams and stuff in the Massachusetts area growing up. Bantams, midgets, you know, all the way up to junior A. And then I played some college, but that's what I started, kind of like Triple H. I was feeling my oats with the weightlifting, and I was doing great lifting. I was making gains, like 5 pounds a week on the bench. And I when I started lifting weights in the blizzard of '78, that was that big storm in Massachusetts, all over New England. I started lifting weights there because we were all like, it was like COVID, but it was like snow. Everyone was sequestered to their houses. And so I had a weight set, and I started lifting, and I liked it. I had done a ton of calisthenics, though. I was really heavy into the push-ups, the chin-ups, the dips, sit-ups, and that I did that for years, and that really made me rip it. It made my tendons really, really well conditioned. So when I transformed into weight training per se, you know, like benching and shoulder pressing, I already had the good joints. So it was like a precursor, but it laid the foundation because I made some great gains. I was making 5 pound gains a week. It was insane. It was insane. I loved it.
What was your diet like when you were putting on those 5 pounds of weight every week on your bench press? Were you shoving down?
Yeah, I was eating everything. A lot of Chinese food. I love Chinese food. But then I get more into like steaks, chicken and spaghetti. That was a lot. And then when I decided, everyone is saying, you know, I was benching like 400. And this is when I was weighing 220, 215. And they said, why don't you, I was looking at these, they had these, what they call bench press meets. And I said, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. So I signed up for a bench press meet for the New England states. And I got first place. I got the best bench, 440 at 220, which was great. And then I did the nationals after that, and then the collegiates, and then it was awesome. I was on a path to like being the first guy in the area to bench 600. And I would just do like a meet or two a year. And I started getting a following and getting a lot of national attention, starting to get write-ups in the powerlifting and the muscle magazines. And that was a big thing then. I mean, shit, this is when the Road Warriors and everybody, they knew about me because they would be reading the same shit, you know. They're in their rooms and they're at their houses lifting weights and stuff. And that's all we dug, man. It was great. Bench pressing, powerlifting, you know. So
what were your workouts like when you were training for bench press? Did you still do every other body part, or would you
yeah, I still would work my legs. You want to work your legs because that's part of the whole organism, you know. It gives you stamina, it gives you explosion. So I always knew from the beginning, still work your legs. And I would still do some running up stadium steps and stuff, up hills, because that gives you a lot of explosion, gives you a lot of anaerobic energy, you know, because that's what you're doing when you're on the bench and when you're powerlifting, squatting and stuff, you're exploding. A lot of people negate that, but I'm glad because I had a good background of sciences and stuff. I was a teaching degree, but I had a minor in biology and med studies, so that helped out a lot. I remember concentrating on the bench press, nose breakers, tricep extensions to the nose, behind the neck press, curls, lats. Lats were really big because I just figured all this out. If you're going to bench a lot, you want a nice foundation, a nice big foundation, a nice big back. And it made perfect sense. To get a great bench, you needed like a whole symmetry, almost like a symphony of everything kicking in a microsecond at one time. Your lats, your shoulders, your triceps blasting up. So it wasn't just pecs. Behind the neck press, shoulders, lats, triceps. Really important, really important. And I built up my neck too. You want to build up a good neck too. Because you don't want to. One thing that used to just, I don't know, I could never fathom it. I would see a lot of these bodybuilders and some of these powerlifters. They look great, but then their neck, it looks like they were like a larvae form or something. They look skinny, you know. You got to have a good neck.
So would you just do the harness that you'd put on your head?
I would do the 4-way neck machine, like the Nautilus. They had that. I got one here now too, in my studio here. It's great. I got the whole setup. Right, Nick? Yeah, he's here now. I got a mill floor here in Manchester. We got the whole mill building. My dad and I bought it.
Wow.
And, I have a whole floor, polished hardwood. It's like Rutger Hauer's place. I got my workout area, my office. This area here, because of COVID, when I do my acting and we're sending off tapes to agencies and stuff, we do the self-tapes right here. So we got everything going. It's an awesome. Where are you now? What state?
I'm in Canada.
Oh, fuck. If you make it down here, you're going to love it. You're going to love it here. It's like these old mill buildings. We converted the thing. It's beautiful.
I've driven through New Hampshire a few times, so next time I'll definitely look you up.
Oh, definitely. Come to the store, man. I got people coming to the store all the time just to like shoot the shit with me and stuff.
As far as your sets and reps when you were training bench press, what would be a typical training?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's say on the road to World Recordville, I would do like a cycle. And the first phase of the cycle would be like 5 to 8 weeks of sixes. I would do my best 6 reps I can after a warm-up, 4 sets of 6 reps. And I try to get, and this is like my last cycle before I got the world record, before I did 705. I still got it down in my head, but I got it down in my training papers too. I ended up with 505 to 515 for sixes. And then I would go to 5s, and then I would get up to like 4 sets of, oh God, close to 560, 570 for 5s. Then I would go to triples and doubles. And those are like 3 sets of 3s and then a set of double. 2 sets of 3s and then a set of double. And then I'd break down and do some reps. Now this, and a lot of people don't believe this, but this is while I was off the shit. I get up to a 600-pound bench off the sauce. And then when I got on the sauce, because it was like, what's that bodybuilder who won 7 times in a row? Not Haney, Dorian Yates. I did the same thing like he did. I'd be on the shit 6 months out of the year, 6 months off, 6 months on. So when I was on, oh man, those numbers, your body kicks in. It's like welcoming. You got great receptors. So my best 6 was like, shit, 535, 540. And then my best 5 would be 600. And then I knew I was smelling a world record when I could do 650 for 3. 635 for 3. And this is with no bench shirt, just like a t-shirt. 635 for 3, and then 650 for fucking 2. And I knew when I could do that, I could blast 7 or anything after that.
Did you do that once a week, twice a week? How often?
Oh, just once. I have a light day on a Monday, and the heavy day, which I explained, was on a Thursday. Heavy behind the neck is on Saturday, but Monday was light. I mean, light for me, just repping out 400. Light behind the necks, maybe 275 for reps. You know, I had great recuperating power, but I think I say the big thing was because I didn't stay on the sauce long. You stay on the sauce too long, and your body gets used to it. You don't get that kick, and you don't get those receptors working. And you want to build up your tendons and your ligaments as naturally as you can. You know. Yeah. So there's a science behind that too. And I never had a coach. I just figured this out all by myself.
Interesting. Did you have much connection with Bill Kazmaier over the years?
No, only when I saw him up in Calgary. He actually was kind of like, he had a lot of his friends detracting me from going for the world record because he knew I was going to break it. So they'd be doing crank calls at night and shit like that, or trying to say that my lift isn't going to be official because there won't be any judges out there. I mean, this is Hawaii, the international championships, and he wasn't even there. And him and his manager would do stupid stuff, just trying to get my head out of it so I wouldn't go for the record. I just had to block it. So I thought that was kind of bullshit of them lowering themselves to play games like that for another athlete, you know.
I heard he was ribbed really badly in Calgary.
Yeah, he didn't get along that good. He didn't have that. He didn't have the character, and I guess he wasn't humble enough to work with somebody. I mean, he meant well and stuff, but he just didn't have it as far as the panache, the character, because this is a guy that won the world's strongest man so many years in a row. Legitimately the strongest man of the world, all 3 lifts, world championships, but he didn't want to give. He didn't want to, he wouldn't receive. There wasn't a balance. He wanted to be put over all the time. So it would be a shitty match because he didn't want to take a beating, he didn't want to be a part of a comeback. He just wanted to dominate. And that's ego. He had an ego, but they ribbed him and stuff. They ribbed him, and I don't think he lasted long. That he went to the NWA, but I lost contact. I mean, I talked to him a couple times when I had my supplement company. We were doing a big trade show out in Germany. Great guy and stuff, but for wrestling, I just don't think he didn't have the right character. Yeah.
Is it true he had some sort of steroid operation go into for a while there that was helping fund all of his endeavors? Or
I don't believe that. I didn't know anything about him selling steroids. No.
okay.
I don't think he was making enough money because he had his own supplement company and he was, he's doing promotions on his own stuff. I don't think he had to do that.
Yeah, I think Bruce Hart may have mentioned something about that, but Bruce is not the most credible when you're talking.
Yeah, Bruce kind of slings the shit sometimes. He's kind of like a wannabe because his brothers, so I think he's always going to feel that he was, he wanted to follow his brother's footsteps and stuff, but he just wasn't cut out for that. He kind of looked like a model, if anything,
Yeah.
blonde hair and everything, decent guy, but I just think there was like an internal struggle because he's in Calgary trying to be a booker there and trying to wrestle too, and he didn't have any body or anything, So I stayed away from that fray. I just wanted to learn how to be a heel in Calgary, and that helped a lot because when I went to Texas, healing was really good, really easy with me when I went there. So I kind of used Calgary like a stepping stone. I really respect the Harts. They had me at their house a lot, and I made friends with Bruce's, not Bruce, I guess Bruce's brother-in-law, Brad Ennis.
Oh yeah.
We still talk to this day. Yeah.
I actually remember even when I trained in Calgary all the way in 2001, 2002, your record was still on the chalkboard.
No way.
Gym. Yeah. It's torn down now, but like
that was his gym, right?
Yeah, he owned that gym.
So you used to go to that gym too?
Yes.
So you remember that picture that Kaz was there with me? And Kaz, he took the picture, and Kaz, this is how insecure he was. He was on his tippy toes next to me. Did he show you that? Yeah.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that.
He was stepping on his tippy toes next to me in the shot. That's how insecure he was.
There was a fan that wanted to know, is there as much politics in powerlifting as wrestling?
No, just that situation with Kaz, sad to say. They were just so disgruntled. The bench is the bench of the world. That's the lift of the world, not the squat, not the deadlift. As much respect as I get for that. But everybody in the world fucking hears about the bench. And so when they found out that I was on my way, and they knew, they did the math and they saw my gains, that I was going to be the first guy to bench 700 pounds, that just pissed him off because honestly, he probably would have gotten it before me if he didn't tear his pec at the world's strongest man. It's funny how fate is. But being the first to bench 7, being the strongest man in the world, it opened up a lot of doors, i.e. the wrestling and everything else after. My supplement company grew like a bastard.
How did you get into wrestling?
I knew Kenny Patera through a friend, Stevie Standerson, in Massachusetts, and we used to meet him at the Garden. We used to shoot the shit with him. This was like 84. And he was telling Vince about me. And so he kind of set up the meeting with me and Vince after I set the record. But I blocked all that off. I just wanted to get the record first. And then I went down and they saw me in all the muscle mags and stuff, and was on a lot of the different sports channels, me breaking the record. So at the time, Kenny, now this is after, Kenny had been in the can because I didn't see him. He was in the can when he had that fight with Saito at the McDonald's. They called it the Big Mac attack. They were closing down a McDonald's and they wouldn't let him eat. And they had all these burgers they were going to throw out and he wanted to eat them. So he was in the can. And I came at the right time because they needed a strong man. And they liked what I did. And they put me through the wrestling school. And that worked out pretty good.
What was the wrestling school at that time?
That was Passarello's Quest in Orange, Connecticut, and that was run by Tony Altamori. But honestly, I learned a lot because they wanted me on TV a lot sooner than what I thought I was going to get on. You should be wrestling at these camps and doing these road shows for like a year. They just took me after 6 months because they wanted to just get me on TV. So I was learning a lot on the road and shit too.
That Piper's Pit you were on, I don't know if you've seen the video on the internet, but
yeah, the story behind that, I'm out of breath and everything because I was on the other side of the arena. It was like in Poughkeepsie, and then mentioning my name, and I ran all the way across the hockey rink, up the stairs, up into a balcony to where the pit was, and I'm out of breath. Everybody's thinking I'm on coke. I was out of breath. I was running. And I almost didn't make the thing. They don't realize that some prick didn't tell me, okay, Ted, you're going to wait right here. You're going to go on. It's almost like it was a sabotage. I was in the locker way the fuck down there, and they're calling my name, and they said, you got to go. So I'm running, and half-assed talking, and I started lifting up the bench and stuff, but it's almost like you just run a 440 and someone's trying to do an interview with you. It sucked. I mean, it was still good, though. Because,
it was entertaining, but for the record there, for all the people that said that you guys were...
They thought I was coked out.
Yeah, that's the rumor. So,
yeah.
No, you were not.
Totally not.
Now, what about the rumor that Big John Studd and you had an altercation in Boston in the ring, that he tried to rough you up or something? Is there any truth to that?
There was never any truth to that. Especially, that was the opposite. John Mitten. John was a great friend of mine. And I first met him when we were in Australia doing a tour, and we worked out together and stuff. I mean, and we had great matches at the Garden together, and we sold the place out when we did our New England tour because he set the record, supposedly, and I set the real record. And I was on that show with Vince McMahon, Tuesday Night Titans and stuff, where they had the actual world record. So we built up this controversy, and it worked out great. And I'll tell you, man, matches with him, we'd draw. We'd have a draw. We have a count out of something, but two strong men, because he was a big prick, and he was strong too. The guy could I can honestly say he could do probably 550, which is pretty friggin' good with those arms. But he looked like the consummate biker. If there was a guy that looked like a modern day Buccaneer, that's him, man. Long ass hair streaming out behind him, bare chested on a motorcycle. That's the man. And when he was wrestling, he would just get heat just by walking. He just looked so unbelievable. But he was just a great guy off the air, outside the ring. And we talk about the match. And I remember, you remember this, Nick? At the Garden. Because remember, he goes, we're going over the match and shit. And he goes, you're going to pick me up, but don't fucking slam me. Because that was his big thing. I can't slam because that would kill his. He would say, don't slam me. So I'd pick him up like butter cakes. And the crowd was going shithouse. And I wanted to slam, but he'd gouge my eyes and I'd have to drop him and shit. But I remember that. And he would guide me through the match and stuff. And then we have a count out outside. It was good. And I'll tell you, man. That's when I started doing the double axe handles off the rope. Like I'd get him down in the middle and then I'd go off the rope and I'd jump. For me, like 290, I'd get like 6 feet in the air with a double axe handle going off the rope on his back. That was the picture play. That was awesome. And the crowd went shithouse on that. 2 big men going at it. That was pretty cool.
I heard that Andre the Giant was a little bit jealous of him, I guess, because he was close to Andre's size. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah, I never did. I know Andre, when I was there, the poor guy, he was hurting. He was having breathing problems. His back must have been a mess. I think that's why he probably drank a lot. So I know he played a lot of cards. But he kind of, you don't just go up and shoot the shit with Andre. You wait till he talks to you because he's kind of he's like a Hogan. He's a legend. So I didn't see anything between him and I thought they worked great together. 2 big fucking guys like that.
You were in that WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal with Andre.
Yeah.
What was that like? All those NFL players.
That was incredible. Oh yeah, look at that. There it is, WrestleMania 2. Nice. That was it. That was awesome being part of that. The Battle Royal, working with these NFL greats, and we had like a mutual respect, them and me, and us wrestlers, world class lifters, and them with the football. And I'll tell you, man, that was probably the most watched WrestleMania, other than one with Andre the year after. But this one, when they had the 3 telecasts, New York, LA, Chicago, that was all over the world. That was like insane exposure. Just all over the world, because that was just insane. And I was just happy to be part of that thing. When they call your name out and you're going out to the ring in front of like millions of fucking people, you can't help but be pumped. Yeah, you'd feel like you're on coke there. You just want to start killing people.
How was Tony Atlas to work with? I know you had a bunch of matches with him.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. We take it out of the ring sometimes. A lot of countouts with Tony, but he was good as far as like a give and take, And he had been there before me, and that guy had a legit 550 bench. He had a legit 550 bench. We trained a couple times together, and he helped me with some other different things in the business. And we worked together, I think, down in Texas, too, because he was down in Texas, World Championship Wrestling down there, world class.
Now, you also worked with Hercules Hernandez, another huge bodybuilder.
Oh, he was great, yeah. Sad he passed early. But that guy can work, and he was a good bencher, too. I mean, he could still bench 550, 560. And, it's funny, I was telling John on the promo today, when you look at it, a lot of us wrestlers, basically we were just a bunch of fucking gym rats, that just wanted to get into wrestling. We loved the fucking gym. We were the strongest in the gym. And a lot of them played football and stuff, but they loved working out. And so it seemed like a natural progression. But I remember him, he was telling me he wasn't even a bodybuilder. He just loved working out. He had a great gimmick, though. Good hair. Man, could he throw a punch, too. He had the best punches, probably right up there with Brett. Throwing a punch, it looked like he'd decapitate you, And he was in that Gulf Coast. He was in that Florida league for a while down there. That's where he got good. I think Percy Pringle might have been his manager down there, too, off and on.
Yeah, I think for a while. A fan is asking, what did you do for your forearms to get them so huge?
I just followed my routine. When you got to grab the bar tight, I didn't do any individual forearm work. I just did, the benches, the tricep extensions, the behind the neck press. And I guess when you're grabbing all that damn weight, you can't help but get big wrists and forearms and stuff. I paid the price, though. I mean, I had to have multiple surgeries. I feel good now, but, man, I wouldn't be around today. I had knee surgeries, partial replacements on my knees and my shoulders like 5 years ago. Smartest thing I ever did. Because right now I'm training light, but I feel great. I got range and stuff that I never had before. And a lot of my friends and my brothers in wrestling and lifting, they don't want to go under the knife. Your joint just gets more decrepit, and then you can't move, and then you die if you can't do your cardio and shit. These fucking guys are dropping like flies because they don't want to get the surgery, until it's too late. It's kind of sad. But I just said, fuck it, man. I want to be able to still run. When I was bone on bone, it sucked. It got so bad, I was doing my lats. This is like 5 years ago. I'm doing 130 on my lats. And my shoulders were hurting, but they were like grinding. I said, fuck this. I got to do something. So I looked into not full replacements, but partial replacements where I can still, they put like a titanium sphere over half. They cut half of your humeral head down, like 30% because it's dead anyway, just from all that bone degeneration. And then they put a half of a titanium spear. They squirt right in perfectly. So you have like a whole new humerus. And then they even carve out, get all the bone spurs out. They probably took about 3 to 4 hours on each shoulder when they did me to clean out all the old, it was like barnacles in a boat, just all the calcium that built up over the years of the heavy lifting and shit. And then they put in an inlay, like a socket, so the titanium can run up and down in it like a ball bearing. And the rehab sucked because I had to retrain my tendons and stuff. But I'll tell you, I'd do it again in a second, man. I try to tell my friends that got the shoulder problems and knee problems, get it done while you can before you have to get a total one. Total replacements are even harder to come back from, you know? So like right now, like shit, what's today? Today's Friday. Wednesday morning, I ran my mile in like just a little over 9 minutes. I run my ass. I get no pain in my knees. Benching, I'm repping 2 1/4. No problem. Lats, I'm doing the whole fucking stack, 220 for reps. Triceps, I do nose breakers light, but I do a lot of them, like 180. You know, curls, I just do a lot of reps now with like 75, 80 to 100 pounds. And this morning I squatted. I could do 10s with 275 till the cows come home. But that pumps me up, which is good now for like just moving around. It's great for acting, and yeah, I love it, man. It's almost like my body when I first started lifting. You know, I'm kind of more cut up, and I can move. Feels good, really does. Yeah.
One guy who didn't fare as well as you for his long-term health is Billy Graham. I know you donated.
Yeah, how'd you find out about that?
Yeah, Billy told me actually that you donated something like $4,000 to his GoFundMe. What was the connection there with you and him? That
when I was on our West Coast tour with Billy, that's when I first met him, and he had a hip problem then. But he was giving me tips and stuff, and he was really giving me encouragement and stuff. But I always loved him, man. And he was just so fucking, the character that he has is just like a beautiful picture. Just looking at the guy and watching him work. Just so individual, but so unique. And he had a great fucking build. And he used to train with the guys I looked up to. First guy to bench 6. All the bodybuilders out there. And yeah, he was in that generation. So I was looking up to him. But he was still moving pretty good, but I could tell his hips were fucking him. And how is he now by chance? Is he? I know he had to get like some other surgery too, right?
Apparently, due to diabetes, he's about to lose part of his foot now. So it's just one thing after another for him, sadly.
Yeah.
And he's got.
Well, give him my best.
He'll
I always have respect for him.
I'll show him this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Billy, man, fucking hang in there, man.
Now for Ken Patera, there was a rumor that they let you go from WWE because Ken came back from being in jail. Was that true?
Well, that was part of it. They didn't want two strong men there, but it was kind of like dual purpose because I wanted to. They wanted me to be a heel, so I went to Calgary to do that. And then it still wasn't time to come back. So I said, fuck it. I'm not going to stay in Calgary. I want to get on TV again. So I went down to World Class and I worked with Bill Hart down there. And that was a great move. And when I was all set to go back to the WWE, my vitamin business, my supplement business was skyrocketing like insane. Because I was in the GNCs and I had this protein and mega packs and amino acids and all that stuff going before I got into wrestling. But the TV exposure with the wrestling went through the roof. So I really had to like run my business here. It was like I had employees and everything. And we made a shitload of money. It was a great run. And so I ended up getting married. I had a kid. So I just kind of decided to get out of it, you know.
I understand you were training with Les Thornton a little bit when you were
Yeah, Les. Yeah, the English wrestler who was like old school, like Olympic wrestling. Yeah, he was great. I love Les. He just died too, huh?
Yeah, I think the year before last year or something, which was a surprise because he kept in really good shape.
Really good shape. How did he die?
I forget.
Yeah.
But it was sudden.
I'm still shocked about, Nick was telling me about Animal. I never got to meet him. But I know he followed my career. I followed his career, but I know he was a big bencher. And really sad. That took me by surprise. I always wanted to meet him too. He seemed like a great fucking guy.
How did you get along with Vince when you were in WWE?
Vince was great, man. He gave me opportunity. I seized it, and the exposure I got from Vince, I'm glad I performed what I did. I gave him a strongman act, and it worked out pretty good. It worked out all right. Could have been better if I was in there longer, but you know, he put me over, and that's a big solid, man. When you're coming out of a gym, and you know, all of a sudden you have, you know, all this exposure and the ability and the opportunity to train for world class, you know. So I always indebted to for Vince. People just rag on him. Man, that guy has done more shit for people. I mean, what do people want? They expect him to babysit them, you know, make sure they're like he's a chaperone. These guys, they get in trouble. That's their own fault. Vince, he gets too much of blame for being a promoter from some of these people because they can't take care of themselves, you know. They always try to blame somebody else. It comes down to self-responsibility. You know, you want to go out and take Xanax and Coke and never sleep and just, you're going to blame that on Vince? That's your own doing. You know, you're an adult. So I always found it amusing and actually irritating that they would try to blame Vince on someone that goes wacky, like Benoit or somebody. You know, they're adults, and what's he going to do? Keep them in like a kindergarten class and make sure that, you know, be in charge of their making sure they get to sleep at night and, you know, curfews and shit? No way. You take responsibility. Chris Monty, go ahead.
Yeah, he wanted to know if the wrestlers back then cycled or stayed on year-round for the most part.
They stayed on year-round. And you can't blame them. I didn't. Because even then, it was the perspective of health. This was all kind of new then. There wasn't any data to foresee what the effects would be later. All I know is I wanted to get my blood tested to make sure. I know they would go up and down while I was on the stuff, but you had to have a period where you stabilized. Because now, the people that stayed on the shit all year, and this goes for bodybuilding and powerlifting too, in the higher ranks, and even not in the higher ranks, your body doesn't have a chance to recuperate correctively, and it affects your heart, the steroids. And a lot of the guys, they die of heart attacks because it screws up the development of the valves and the just the whole circulatory system. And when you add the amount of plaque, and then if the person's taking recreational drugs, forget it. Then the body has no inert way of resting, you know, naturally. So you don't have that. The heart takes a beating, basically. And that's the problem. That's a problem with when you're on steroids. A lot of these guys, when you see heart attacks and stuff now, and large hearts, that's because they did the steroids, a lot of steroids. And, you know, when I did my world record, the last 2 weeks is the most I took with the steroids. You're going to shit, but the highest I was taking was 750 milligrams. That's it. The last 2 weeks. that just goes to tell you how little stuff you need to really do well, with your natural ability. Now today, that's like a regular dose for one day for some of these bastards. So yeah, their heart's going to explode. That's not good, man. They don't know. They're not educated,
The Ultimate Warrior is one that passed, I think, in his early 50s. You knew him.
Yeah, I knew him and Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good kid. We worked together down when he was Dingo Warrior in Texas Stadium, and a lot of the fairs down there and on TV. But he was on a lot of shit, and he just got caught up in that, And I knew something was up. Whenever you see someone, even when he's retired and he's working out, and you see the veins are like really like garden hose veins, that's a sign right there that there's not good circulation. There's not a good respiratory situation. And there's a lot of plaque in the arteries when you see that. I never had those big veins. I was proud of the build I had because it was still healthy, but they just get too captivated by the press and everything. And you do blow up. I mean, he looked fucking great, but he was on a lot of shit. Yeah. Remember they found stuff in his hotel room?
I don't recall that, but you knew him better than me.
After one of the WrestleManias or something, they found stuff in his room. And there was a big controversy on that.
Billy also told me, like, I know Billy took speed, but like Warrior, Billy said, according to what Superstar was aware of, Warrior would take it before he worked out too, which obviously isn't going to help your heart.
He would take the coke before he works out?
The speed. Which
wow. Yeah, like ephedrine or something.
Yeah.
See, that goes back to the stuff that affects your central nervous system. You can't do that shit. That's really going to work on your heart because your heart needs real natural REM sleep. And if you're doing ephedrine, speed, Xanax, you don't get that natural sleep and your heart is taking a beating because your heart does rest when you get REM sleep. And problem was they depend on the highs and they take the lows to try to get to sleep, like the Xanax and the Valiums. But that's their own doing. Vince didn't push them on that. That was their own doing. Vince isn't the fucking chaperone. Yeah, whenever you get something that affects the central nervous system, you're taunting death, especially as you get older, And then, even if it doesn't bother you then, why are these guys dropping in their 40s and 50s, a lot of them? Because of that, the damage is done.
Rude is another one that passed away at 40, only 40. And I know you knew him as well.
Great fucking worker. Great working out. But then he did the recreational drugs. That was not good. He wasn't obese or nothing. You know who did that too was Gagne's kid. Who's the one? Mr. Perfect. Yeah, they found him dead next to his fanny pack doing, the hell was it, oxys or something, or doing crack. I mean, what the hell drives these people like that? It's horrible. Maybe it's just the fact that they can't face it. They're not in the glory days anymore either. And they just try to still like maintain that. But you can't. It's like me trying to juice up, trying to go for 7. Fuck that,
Michael Dunbar wants to know, did any wrestlers ever rib you?
Yeah, they would. They would. Because I was a new guy. I just came in. I didn't have to work the lower circuits and shit. So they would rib me a little, World's Strongest Man. They call me Fat Man sometimes. But that was all right. Because what am I going to be? Like Mr. fucking sensitive prima donna like Bill Kazmaier? Bill couldn't take a fucking rib. You got to learn to take a rib too, Yeah, that's part of the game. It's a carny act, and I was on their turf, Who's this fucking world-class lifter all of a sudden? He's on national TV. He's got his own doll, What about us? We've been in the fucking Mississippi League, fucking Crockett's League, and we're still in the undercard. So they took offense to it. If they took it too far, I'd just say, fuck them. What do you want to do?
Daniel wants to know if you would ever write an autobiography.
Nah, I don't know, maybe. Right now, I love pursuing my acting, So maybe later, but right now, I'm having too much fun.
Double S asked if cardio was ever a problem for you in wrestling because you were so massive, but you mentioned a bunch of times here you were a runner, so.
Oh yeah. You want to still run. You don't want to blow up. Even a big guy. Even when I was going for the record, I was doing sprints. I was running up and down stadium things, stadium steps and hills and stuff. Cardio is important. When I was in wrestling school, I'd still run around the parking lot in Orange, Connecticut. This huge shopping mall. I'd run. I'd still try to run at least 2 times a week then. And right now I do 3 times a week. And all I do is a mile. But yeah, running is very important. Cardio is important when you're a wrestler. A lot of these guys did it on the side. But I know. See, I don't know about Ultimate Warrior. I don't know if he did a lot. I know he was like the running man. He'd run into the ring. That's a lot of cardio too. But if you're not in good cardio shape, that's a lot of stress on your heart. Now, was he coked up before when he was running out to the ring, or just on speed?
I don't know. From what Billy told me, he would take speed before he worked. Yeah. That's hearsay, but.
Do you think he had a premonition, like he just knew he was going to die and said, "Fuck it, this is my limelight"?
I don't know. It was weird how he died, though, just a couple of days after.
Right after they indoctrinated him. Yeah, that's fucked up. That was freaky, huh?
Oh, that was crazy. Alan wants to know how was working with the Von Erichs in Texas. Those were another group that unfortunately had their issues.
Yeah. I remember when I went to Texas, Brody was the booker, and I still had to prove it to Gary Hart that they wanted to see me work in a dark match. And I was with Cousin Junior in Fort Worth, and it was a great fucking match. I healed. And I still remember going back to the TV room, and he goes, "You can work, brother." And then I had a meeting with Fritz where they were going to push me, give me a good push. But I had to prove it down there. And I was in the room with the Von Erichs, all of them. It was Kerry, the little one, Chris, that ended up killing himself. He was a good shit. Who's the other one? Kerry, his younger brother, the one that's still alive.
Mike.
Yeah. So they were there with the old man. The old man was good man. He gets a lot of shit too. The kids, they took the drugs and stuff, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I'm sure he pushed them to become wrestlers, and they enjoyed it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. But they were good. They were good people. They liked me, and they gave me a shot down there, and I took it and got the strap, the Texas heavyweight strap. And I remember working with them. It was great. It was really good. And sad was when I went down there, they had just lost. Who's the one that died of Crohn's disease or something before I was down there? I know they lost Mike back in '84 in Japan.
Oh no, that was David. Mike was
right. David, right. Mike was the one they lost, right?
He also killed himself, but he had the health issues.
Right.
He rolled himself in a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
He drowned himself.
Did you ever work down there?
In Texas, I've got connections down there now. I'm actually covering the Texas territory now.
No shit.
So
that was unbelievable. I was down there. It was like a film we were doing there at night. I took a detour to the Sportatorium, where the Sportatorium was. And I remember when I was down there, I rented one of those rent-a-wrecks. It was like a Pinto, because I lived in Fort Worth. And I would drive into the Sportatorium. That place was fucking lit up at night. That went all over the world, the Sportatorium. That was the place to wrestle, man. There was something about it. It was like a mini Boston Garden. There was like thousands of people in there, and you're like in this cage. It's almost like Waterworld, or like Mel Gibson, one of those movies with the cage. And the TV was there, and it was great. But the Von Erichs, they put me over well. I worked well with Kerry and Kevin when they did their tags, and that was an honor because, I mean, they put that place over big time when they had their feud with the Freebirds and shit, and the Great Kabuki and everything. That's when I was lifting weights and I was watching those guys. So I thought that was pretty humbled area. It was pretty hallowed ground there. And then to see it's just like a parking lot now. It's nothing.
Yeah, they tore it down.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite wrestling match?
Probably like the one with Stud, a bunches with Stud. And I wish there was some on TV, but I did a tour with the Iron Sheik. Man, we had some great matches in the Midwest and out in California. Remember Corporal Kirshner? He got sick of something, so they had me go in. And, man, I'd be out in the ring. They introduced me. The place goes shithouse. And then you just hear this. You could just see this Iranian flag coming in. And he's waving it. And you couldn't even see him, but you see the flag. And then there was just this harrowing, ominous moan from the people. The fucking heat he generated. And then he'd come up and do his gimmick and stuff. And we already talked about the match. And, man, we both did so good. I was suplexing him, and we just take our time and work every move. And it was all about quality and efficacy of each move, not rushing it, especially when you got a strongman. And he was a strongman in his own right. The guy was a gold medalist, you know. I mean, he probably is, honestly, the toughest man in wrestling. Iron Sheik, absolutely. I love him. I saw him at a couple signings too. And he worked with me down in Texas, but we probably had we were top of the card everywhere we went with him, even though we weren't like the main event. The place went shithouse, and it was unbelievable. Yeah, it was really cool.
Are you surprised Nikolai Volkov passed before the Iron Sheik?
Yeah, Nikolai was a great guy too. They're probably two of my best friends that in wrestling. Those two guys. I'm going to tell you a little story here about. So I was in a tag, or I did an individual one with the Sheik or Volkov one night, and we were driving together. So we leave the stadium. We're at the arena, and they put me in the back seat because he didn't want the heels driving with the babies. It looked fucked up. This is before Vince, kayfabed it, didn't kayfabe it anymore. They had me under a sheath, like a blanket in the back seat. So we're out of there, and we're almost at the hotel. And then Sheik's muttering something in Iraqi or something, and I guess he made Volkov, and I still had to stay in the back. But then I had to throw the fucking blanket over me again. Sheik forgot his fucking comb, his brush, his favorite brush in the locker room. So we had to drive all the way back and go through the fucking gauntlet of people. And little do they know that I was in the back, world's strongest man, under a fucking rug.
Okay, fire away.
All right, joining us on the line right now is a former WWF superstar. He's a record-breaking powerlifter. He's a former world-class Texas heavyweight champion. He's, of course, the world's strongest man, Ted Arcidi. Mr. Arcidi, welcome to the Two-Man Power Trip. How you doing today?
How you doing, Johnny? Good to be here, man.
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to get you on. You are the world's strongest man. Now, what have you been up to lately? What's been going on in your world?
Well, I've been doing some acting. I was just on Ray Donovan. I had a guest star role in that. And that was about 6 months ago. I think they're showing it now. And I finished up production in a couple independent films and still auditioning now for pilot season. On top of that, I got my real estate business, and I have a store here in Manchester, New Hampshire, weightlifting store, as a matter of fact. And we're doing very well, selling home gyms and, weight sets and stuff, because a lot of people now want to train at home. They don't want to deal with going to the gyms.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
yeah.
I'm sure that business has been booming.
Yeah. But it sucks. So I got a lot of friends in the acting business, and these guys, they were living out of New York, and they didn't know what they're going to do. Same thing with L.A. A lot of productions are on hold. They're only using the people that were in the season before. So, getting auditions and actually going to the office for casting calls and, auditions and dealing with the casting directors, it's very hard. It's very hard for them. And then they can't work at restaurants anymore because they're all closed down. The ad is the starving actor. They work in the restaurant businesses. That's not even an occurrence now.
Yeah, good point. It is very, very crazy and tough world out there. How did you get into the acting world? Because I know you've been in a bunch of different things, but how did you kind of get in?
When I got out of wrestling, tail end of my powerlifting career, the joints were taking a beating. When you're working out, and if your warm-up weight is killing you, it's time to get out because your joints just degrade. You just can't do it forever, And I had a decent career, so I get into something else. I always wanted to get into acting because I talked to some of the guys in the business from wrestling, and they mentioned, get your SAG card, take classes, and I did that up in Boston back in, when did I start? Like 98, 99. And I just worked locally, non-union stuff, did a shitload of student films and a lot of free work, but you just get better at it. Because I always wanted to do it. It's entertainment, and you don't have to put your body in the line like with wrestling.
Yeah, very true. Do you think it was an easy transition from wrestling to acting?
Acting and TV and film is a very, very cool medium. So you had to bring it down. It's more real life stuff. Not that wrestling isn't, but, it's not over the top as much, more subtlety involved. But basically it's just being comfortable in front of the camera and just, looking at the camera straight in the eye and telling the truth, how you feel. And, yeah, it came to me pretty good. Because, I guess I had a character in me already, Yeah,
oh yeah. Almost like wrestling helped even further bring that character out.
I think so. It all comes down to life experiences, John. I see a lot of new actors, even older actors, they just don't got it. They're not convincing because they haven't really dug deep into their past experiences, life experiences, failing, different types of physicalities and stuff that you can draw from. And I think that really helped. The wrestling, the powerlifting, being in competitive spirit and competition, and then dealing and expounding my talents when I was wrestling every night and doing interviews. You just get better and better at it, and it cuts away through all the bullshit. So you're not really prepping; you're just being you.
When you were on like Ray Donovan and stuff, was that just like a really cool experience, or was it just good. One of those things where you just love doing that?
Yeah, I do it for nothing. I do all acting for nothing. It's just such a great medium. The money's great, but I don't do it for the money. It was real easy on the set. It's like you belong there, You do a bunch of takes. You run it different ways. You get a good director, Eddie Bianchi. He was the director for my day, and 2 or 3 scenes, and we were there all day. But it was fun, and it kind of sucked leaving because we just had a lot of fun. A lot of different ways to run it. Run the script, run your part, and then there was blocking, and I get wailed on at the end of the scene with a baseball bat, so physicality was important too, and that was good. That worked out well.
And you're used to that.
Yeah. I actually broke the friggin' bat. It was a plastic bat, and I was being beat on. I was first verbalizing and verbally abusing a young Ray Donovan, and then he came back into my place, and we had it out, and he ended up grabbing a bat. And my character, Ricky Ronson, I'm a collector's memorabilia sports guy. So I had Boston, this is like circa 1984, so I had Boston sports, Yastrzemski bats, jerseys, Carlton Fist stuff hanging in my wall, and I was dealing the stuff illegally too, so I was kind of like swarmy at the same time. And I owed him money, the young Ray Donovan, and he grabs a bat in the middle of our conflict off the wall and proceeded to nail me with it. So that was pretty good. Yeah, it's a prop bat, and it's plastic, but I said, lay it in, man. We got to make this thing look real, and he did, and he broke the bat in my lat.
That's pretty damn cool, though, because that's a pretty popular show. Of course,
I think it's one of the best shows out there. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have a continuance and stuff, but I'd love to get on there as a reoccurring. But there's a lot of stuff coming up now with pilots. Pilot season's coming up, so we got some opportunity here, which is good.
Are you allowed to say what else you're kind of out there auditioning for? Or is that one of those things you
yeah, a lot of it's like on the cuff. Series roles, reoccurring roles, guest star roles, some co-stars too, where you're in there for the day. And then there are some other stuff like untitled stuff they're doing in Boston. I'm based in New Hampshire, but I'll go to LA, I'll go to Boston, New York if I have to. But luckily, that's not really luckily. I'd rather do auditions and go in front of the casting director directly in the room. That's where you really show your stuff. So it's hard you only have 2 planes on a self-take, or when you're doing a scene on take and then they send it to LA and New York. Because, I don't know, the real personality can't go through, that you want to see that 5th plane, that 4th plane. But yeah, a lot of it's untitled now because it's in development. So yeah.
And what were some of the other roles that you were in already?
Oh God, I've done a ton of commercials. Wendy's, FedEx, some sporting goods stuff, and then I was on Law and Order a bunch, and then the bunch of different. I was on Equalizer 2. I was on that promo for Equalizer 2 with Denzel, which is good. That got more play than the actual movie, which is cool. And then Nurse Jackie's when she was around. 30 Rock. Yeah, if they go to the IMDb page, they got the whole thing. I got like about 36, 40 credits. But it was good. I started in Boston. Started out. No one starts out big. You start out small doing the non-union stuff, and like I said, did a lot of free student films. What's great about the student films is you get to keep. You're working with these students, and the stuff that you shoot during the day, the reels, the dailies, you work it out with the director. You can keep your cuts, and you can have them edited. And it was good to get those dailies so I can present a reel of my best stuff, with stuff that was not only student films, but stuff I did non-union, like commercials and some low-budget movies and stuff. And then I sent that to New York, and I got an agent right away, pretty much. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, let me see this. Let me look online here.
With the acting thing, you're obviously you're doing some of the stuff. When you go for roles, do they know, like, hey, this was the world's strongest man, or hey, this is former WWE superstar? Do they know that?
You're funny you said that because they find out. And I don't tell them, like when I'm at the audition, I used to be a WWF wrestler, superstar, and world's strongest man. Let them find that out because you want to just go there bare bones for acting, You may hear some background noise. I'm just going down in the elevator. But, yeah. And then it comes out on the set, the director, the producers, they'll stop and say, hey, guess who's with us today, So that's kind of cool. But I'd rather let them find out themselves because it's the acting that counts. You can't. They don't really care. They want to see the talent. They want to see if you can rock and roll. Yeah,
they want to see what you can do now rather than what you did.
Yeah. Now,
as far as getting into the world of wrestling, getting into the WWF, and obviously famous power lifter, world record breaker and holder, and world's strongest man. How'd you get into the WWF?
How did I get in?
Yeah, to the WWF. Obviously.
Well, I set the record. I set the record at the Hawaii Internationals back in 1985, and I always wanted to get into wrestling. And I got called in by Vince and time from the NWA for interviews.
In '85, you said NWA, Ted Turner's after you, basically Vince McMahon, WWF is after you.
Yeah, I was pretty tight with, still I'm kind of with Temperatura. Before he knew I was going for the record, I'd see him at the Garden and stuff, watch his matches, and he knew I was going to get the record because I was pretty damn close, and got a call from Vince. I didn't want to let it deter me from not setting the record, so I didn't think about it until after I set the record. Then I had the opportunities. And then I had a meeting with Vince back when they had their first office in Connecticut. And they put me through wrestling school, Tony Altamori's wrestling school in Orange, Connecticut. So that was cool. Only 6 months, so I kind of had to learn on the job, too, because they wanted me on there so much right away because Peoria at the time got canned. He was in the can because him and Sayuda, they attacked that guy at McDonald's there for a Big Mac or something.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got arrested and then fought the cops and made it
right. Yeah, and he had to do time for a while, but that helped me out because it was kind of like a clear way to get in the world's strongest man there, you know.
Crazy though, only 6 months of training, and then it's like training on the road or like on the job training.
Yeah. So I just got more involved in matches, more and more as I progressed there, and then I turned heel. I went away to turn heel down in Texas, and I think that's where I really came into play as a heel.
So even before you become a heel in Texas, but the WWF. And it's on the job training, and you basically got recruited in. You're the
and I was a
man.
baby face in the WWE, so to go heel. Vince wanted me to go heel, so I went to Calgary, spent a few months there. Then I went down to Texas, and then I got the strap down there. But I never went back to Vince because I don't know. My business was going well. My mail order business that I had advertised with Joe Weider, Muscle and Fitness, my sports supplement business and stuff, was doing well. And I ended up getting married, had a kid early, so I just got out of it.
With the time in the WWF, I think so many people will remember the LJN, the action figure. And
yeah, that was a great thing, man. That doll is a good likeness. Yeah.
Isn't that
really
crazy?
Good likeness.
All these years later, how popular it is. Because if you look now,
I know.
I mean,
every time I go to these signings, they come out with the dolls. I guess they're still making them. I don't know how they still get them in the package. You know, there must be like third and fourth rounds of manufacturing going on. But that's cool. That's a nice thing.
Are you shocked?
Novelty.
Yeah, are you shocked with like the popularity of them? Like at the time, it's kind of brand new, brand spanking new. They're going to make action figures.
Yeah. Now it's like they're even like with YouTube and the internet. It's even more popular now. It's like a second life. And then with the acting, they tied the two in. So that's what's cool. Like tonight at the signing, the virtual signing. We'll be signing a wrestling thing, but I'll also send them a headshot, an acting headshot, too. I thought that would be nice for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I think that a lot of those fans will definitely have that wrestling figure, or have some old stuff. It's crazy that the amount of them. I wish I didn't sell them. Years ago, I sold them all because I have to say.
Well, can you still get them on the internet, though?
But I'd have to pay like double or triple what I sold it for. I'd end up losing money on the thing. So it's almost like, damn it, I wish I would have just kept them.
I've even seen some companies even remake them. Almost, it's a different looking doll, but somehow they did it. Now, did you get a lot of money? Because Hillbilly Jim says, he got like
thousands upon thousands of dollars. Outback Jack says that he didn't get it because he didn't sign a good enough deal with them. But obviously, they still made a doll.
You mean for my dolls or for my wrestling?
No, for the LJNs. For the
LJN, I made about $75,000 on that. Back then, that was a shitload. Yeah.
Wow. So everyone did clean up. So yeah, the popularity.
But just think though. I mean, and that was just so many pennies a doll or whatever. So they must have sold a shitload of dolls because I get this monthly audit report of how many they sold. And I look at the check and I'm thinking, wow, man, that's insane what they sold. Because that was the thing at the time, those dolls. Yeah. And they were collector's items, and they still are. Yeah.
Crazy. I remember me, all my friends, we all had pretty much every single one almost too. So, if we had them, then millions of other fans had them for sure.
Yeah. And getting the Outback Jacks and the Ted Arcidis, those are the rare ones. We're like the Onus Wagners of our time,
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think about that golden era of wrestling? Because that's what they call that era, basically. The Hulk
I think
Hogan.
It was great. I was so fortunate to be on tour with Terry, and that's the golden goose, man. That's the golden goose. And I thought the rivalries were simpler but better. It wasn't caught up with all this antiquated, crap that you see today. It was. I think it was more brutal. And the matches were more appealing. They're more exciting, today. But I think the storylines kind of suck. A lot of young kids, I wouldn't let my kids watch today's wrestling. It's with the sex and all that. And not that I'm opposed to that, but it's not for a kid, It's X-rated. There's a lot of X-rated stuff.
It's not like it used to be. I mean, during the golden era, it was so good. Even you're right. Even the simple storylines were great. Yeah. Everything they did, everybody had a character. Everybody was larger than life. It was like, wow, these guys could really kick your ass if you looked at them, or they could be like a hero. It was definitely a different time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad I was in that time. It was a good time, and it was like overnight, All of a sudden you're on, and everybody watched TV. Everybody watched wrestling back then. And it wasn't as diluted because there wasn't as many stations. So there was a cross-feeding of observation of wrestling by all counts of people, all walks of life. So I think per capita we probably had the most eyes. We had the most exposure. I think so.
I totally agree. Do you remember back to WrestleMania 2 being in that battle royal with all the NFL guys too?
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was really cool. And we had a rehearsal, the other night before that, whatever. It's just like what we're going to do and stuff. Talked it out. And those guys, they respected us and we respected them. That was Refrigerator Perry, Freilich, one of the Chicago Bears. And, yeah, I was in touch with a couple of those guys up for a while there. But, everybody gets distance, But I thought that was great, though. That was a great thing. It was a great showcase for me, man, being in a 20-man battle royal that's watched all over the world. The way Vince set that up, 3 different venues in one night, I was more in awe of the process.
Yeah, WrestleMania 2 was unbelievable. To be able to do it, and shows you the popularity, to be able to sell out those 3 places and then put it on, closed circuit and then the version of pay-per-view for back then. And
plus international, and then you had all the rights and all the, it was on HBO and Showtime.
Yep.
It was damn good.
And then
I owe this to Vince. Vince gave me an opportunity, and it was great. It was great, and I just made sure that I did the right things and use the right persona. And now between Vince and Terry Boulay, I was very happy to be on board. Very happy to be on board.
Yeah, and think about it, NFL guys wanted to be a part of WWF at that point.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They really
a lot of them got rejected. A lot of them, they just don't get the character. They don't get the panache. You gotta have that going. It's like Kazmaier. He's a good, decent guy, but I don't think he had the character, could come across in an interview and stuff. It just seemed kind of boring. But
yeah, and you guys wrestled each other in Canada, right?
Yeah. We tried to make it work up there, and it just didn't really work. Some gimmicks sound good on paper and stuff, but you know, when the rubber hits the road, if it doesn't get over, it doesn't get over. You don't want to stink the house out, you know. And as you know, Calgary was a great lab, a great petri dish for coming up with gimmicks. Some gimmicks worked, some didn't, you know. Worked for me as a heel up there, and then I went on to Texas, as you know, and I love being a heel. I still love being a heel on TV too.
It's so interesting. The guy
in that movie, The Family, I was a heel. I was one of the hitmen going after De Niro. We filmed that out in France for about a month. That was awesome.
Very cool. What's it like working with Robbie De Niro?
It was super. He wasn't in a lot of my days because we were pursuing him, you know. I was one of the 6 hitmen, and, you know, we had to go through training with guns and running around and combat and things like that. And the guy who gave me a shot at a great role out there, I was Tommy, was Luc Besson. He's like the Spielberg of Europe, you know. He did all the Taken movies and stuff. So that was fantastic, though. And he's a good guy. I was shooting the shit with him a lot. And Tommy Lee Jones, too. Great guy. Tommy Lee's a farmer. Do you know that? He's a farmer down in Texas. He's got a farm.
That's weird.
Yeah, he was going to some. He went to some, when we were out there, he went to a farm equipment auction over there. And I think he might have gotten something, but, you know, yeah, he's got, I don't know, he must have a few hundred acres or something, but see, that's a nice thing. There's an adage right there. You have something else going besides the acting. Do something you love, you know. Do something you love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he had a great character in that movie too.
You know, down in Texas, it's interesting to look at like who you worked with and who you teamed with and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see Texas Red, aka The Undertaker.
Yeah. Was he my tag partner at one time, or were we opposite? I think he might have been my tag partner.
Yeah, he was your tag team partner. Yep.
Yeah, Texas Red. Yeah. Is he still doing it?
He just retired as of November.
Wow.
So it's 30 years in the WWF.
Wow. You know, we got another connection, too, him and Percy Pringle.
Yeah. I was going to bring him up, too. Yep.
Yeah. Great guy. Very sad still to see that he passed. And he'd be connecting with me when I got on TV or something from Texas. So that was cool because he used to see me. He saw my transition going in there. Let me say, he managed me. He managed Rick Rude.
Yep.
He managed Matt Bourne. We had a great angle with Matt Bourne. That's where I got the belt down there. And I really miss a lot too. He passed too. Was Gary Hart. Gary Hart really helped me out a ton. Calls you being a heel and stuff. And I had great matches when he was. He had Al Perez in his stall, and Percy had me, and we took this thing all around the place, all around the Southwest. Al Perez was a great worker, the Latin heartthrob. I'm surprised he didn't go to New York. I don't know if he went to New York and tried, but man, he was great. I loved working with him. Really good guy. Have you heard what he's doing at all now, or what?
I know he still does signings periodically and stuff. He still looked, not the same, he looks older, but he still looks in great shape.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. Even in WCW, it didn't work out with him when he was in WCW.
I don't know if they gave him a good enough shot. I really don't know. I don't know. But he was on top, and he did well down in Texas, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. What was it like working with the Von Erichs down there?
That was good. That was really good. I worked with Kevin, worked with Kerry, and the Sportatorium, man. I was so glad I was a part of that. The legendary down there. I drove down there. I was down in that area for a shooting, and I drove by the Sportatorium, and it's no longer there. It's a fucking parking lot. It's fucked up. But there's one place that's still there that Bruiser Brody took me there when he was booking down there when I first flew down there to get into World Championship was Big Al's barbecue. You know how barbecues are prevalent. They're everywhere down there. And I went to Big Al's with him. And this is what he says. I mean, you can't find out now, but he says, Ted, I hired you because I saw the way you ate at Big Al's. You just wouldn't stop putting away. I knew you'd work out. So I always had an affinity with Bruiser. And I was really, really upset about what happened to him because I was one of the few that just got to talk to him all the time, you know. And he wore a lot of hats there, too, being the booker, running the angles and stuff, then working. Best caveman sucker routine ever with him. And he was talented, and he was well-built. It was the most awesome gimmick for a guy. That's why he made so much money overseas. He was phenomenal. His height, his stance, I mean, he's so friggin' convincing.
He was a beast, for sure. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome wrestler, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Frank Goodish, right? Yeah.
Yep. Is he the one that came up with the Mr. 705 when you were doing that gimmick?
He could have been Gary Hart. Gary used to make me crack up on the promos. I get better at the promos. I had some real good promos, believe it or not, up in Calgary. There's still some of them floating around.
Yeah, you spent a fair amount of time up there as well.
I was juiced up there, and it was right after Vince. But yeah, it's so easy at those places. You get freewheel too, and that's where I got into like ad-libbing, improving. I think that probably helped me carry over into acting.
Oh, there's no doubt. I definitely agree. What was Stu Hart like up there?
Stu was a great guy. He liked to stretch you. He tried to get to me a stretch a couple of times, but I didn't fall for it. But he, solid guy, loved the business, loved his kids. I had dinner at his house almost every Sunday with the boys, so I felt that was very fortunate to do that. I mean, we had a spread. We would have, those chicken roasters you see rotating at like Whole Foods and stuff. He had one of those, like you see at a carnival. And there'd be like 6, 7 chickens. And they would feed us in the Hart living room or dining room where all the pictures of the Harts were. They had 13 kids. And I thought that I was very fortunate to experience that.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. And obviously Stu is such a legend, and all of his kids, I mean, most of them became big-time legends in the business. Were you close with any of the Hart boys?
Probably Brett. I was very close with. While we were on the road and stuff, we traveled sometimes together. And Jim Neidhart, because he was a power lifter at first and great football player too.
Yep.
So we had something in common. And even after I stayed in touch with him a couple times, but he was really down to earth. I wasn't really connected with Owen that much, even though he was part of the crew, but I was more connected with Brett. Probably because of the trips, we used to share rides and stuff,
Yep.
It's very easy to get, to get accustomed with someone when you're riding. You talk about a lot of shit,
Were you a big partier at all?
Was I what?
A big partier, like a drinker and that kind of stuff?
Not really, no. Because I had to lift. That was my gimmick. So that was my first and foremost thing, to go there into a town, get the lifting done, then go home and relax until the match. No, I didn't really party too much. I didn't do the extreme stuff at all. I mean, I have a few beers here and there, but that was it. Because that was my gimmick. If I fucked that up, my body, if I started looking like shit, there goes the world's strongest man. That doesn't help.
Yeah, that's true. What about like ribbing? Were you like a ribber and stuff? Did you like to play jokes and stuff?
No, I kind of kept to myself. I mean, I'd laugh and stuff. Sometimes that can get crazy. Owen did a lot of ribbing. And I don't know. I just never into that. But I'd like to watch it. It's fun.
Now, what about some guys you didn't get along with? I know there's a story, kind of Big John Studd and you. Maybe you didn't get along. Maybe he stiffed you in a match.
Actually, we get along really good together, Studd. Me and the
Oh,
Sheik.
okay.
Yeah, and Volkov. And Studd was great, yeah. We had a great gimmick, Studd and I, at the Boston Garden. We took that all over the area. And in Australia, that's where I really got to know him more because I was on a tour with Australia with him. Prior to that winter, we went down there. But no, Studd was great, man. He respected me. We worked out a few times together. Man, he really is the consummate gentle giant. The consummate gentle giant, yeah.
I guess that's always a rumor that's thrown out there, like, oh, he was stiff at the end of the match, but maybe it was just you guys were working so well together, it's like the assumption that he was stiff in the end of the match.
Yeah, not really. No. And I'd get a little stiff with him, but, I mean, that's how it is. It's back and forth. You want to make it look real. But, no, there was no animosity ever. I mean, the guy was great. And he thanked me, and I thanked him. And he would take me through the match, too, just to make sure. So he made it look real. That was the consummate actor as a raging bikie, if I ever seen one, you know?
Yes.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Consummate. I mean, with that hair streaming out back, bare-chested. He's like the modern-day Buccaneer. On a motorcycle. Yeah.
Yep.
He did. Yeah, he got some. I talked about the acting with him and Saito, and they told me about getting some classes and get the SAG card and stuff like that. So they kind of like helped me in the beginning.
If you remember that great movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Right. He had a
there.
decent part in that too. Yeah. Yeah, with Don Johnson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mickey Rourke.
And who?
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke, yeah. So that was a great movie with him with the wrestler, though. Wasn't that consummate? That was iconic.
Oh,
he did such a great job on that.
Did you think it was very true to life?
I think so, especially at that time. They were getting into the real weird stuff, you know, the hardcore stuff, the glass. I pictured that, but he portrayed it tremendously. Gave him another life. Gave him another boost with his acting because he was kind of on the outs. He just really didn't act for like so many years before that. He would just go to the gym and work out, and then just rely on his royalties. But that was a nice rebirth for him.
Plus, you don't got to take bumps or hurt yourself.
Yeah. I haven't met him. I'd like to meet him someday. I'm sure I will.
Yeah. He, I guess he is a pretty big wrestler. I mean, he was a part of that WrestleMania with Jericho, too. I think it was WrestleMania 25 with Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah. And he was also part of the boxing stuff, too, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because I know he was into the boxing. Yeah.
As far as, like, Andre the Giant, another guy I'm thinking of, just an iconic guy of that era. Were you close with Andre at all? Was he friendly? Was he likable?
Andre just kept to himself, you know? You didn't want to mess with Andre. He just wanted to keep to himself. If he talked, you respond. But he had started getting some health ailments. You could just see in the manner of his walking, and it was very, very hard for him breathing and stuff. So I just stayed back and let he talk to me. Yeah, because he wasn't feeling too good. Put it to you that way.
Were those drinking stories about him? Are those true, or are those a little exaggerated?
That was during my time or before my time, but I don't know. I never went out. I know we could put him away though. I bet. I know that he used to always get a bottle. Someone would get him a bottle of like brandy or something right after the match. He'd probably wolf the whole thing down. He was a drinker. There's no doubt about it. But maybe that was masking the pain because killing him so much.
Right. As we head towards the wind down, we head towards the finish. Got to ask though, how come you really left the WWF when Ken Patera came back? Did they not want two strong men together? That's
exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it, John. And that gave them, for me, to go away and become a heel. So that was working out well up in Calgary and down in Texas. But I never came back. But that was it, pretty much.
So when did you?
Ken had been, a mainstay, a fixture with them.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, but they wanted me to become. I guess if they had me as a face, then I would have stayed. But I didn't want to become a face. They wanted me to be a heel, and they were going to work out something with me even going up against Dino Bravo, because he tried to do the match with the weights and stuff, and he actually failed a 700-pound lift with fake weights. Didn't go. That didn't happen on national TV. I kind of laughed my ass off. But no, that's why. That's why. And then just life took a different turn.
So when did you officially retire from the ring?
I'd say when I got out of Texas.
So it's probably like late '87.
Yeah, like '88. Yeah, like '88.
All right, and as we're finishing up here, your career, just thinking about it, powerlifting, world record, world's strongest man, WWF superstar, the whole thing. What is would you say is your lasting legacy or your stamp? Even your acting as well. Like, what would you think if somebody said Ted Arcidi and they're looking back at your career and your legacy?
Definitely the first man to bench 7. That doesn't seem to get old. And wrestler and actor. Yeah.
Seems to be a great career, legendary career that, you definitely made yourself famous in a few different places, which is hard to do. I mean, it's hard to make yourself famous in one genre. You did it basically in 3 different ones. So it's quite a career and quite a stamp looking back.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I think that goes to my upbringing, credit for that. My ethics, my morals. I was always a worker. And from my mother, she always said, practice. Practice. You could have the time, make the time to practice. You practice, whatever, you will get better at it. And it made perfect sense. And now being in this genre, it's great. I'll do this till I die, acting. I love it. But I will never, forget and always hold high regard the journey getting to this point, starting with the world record lift and the journey into pro wrestling. I mean, that was great. That was a big accomplishment, and not a lot of people can do that. So I'm very, very lucky, very fortunate. Thank God every day.
And you got a big virtual signing for Captain's Corner going on, which is great.
Right?
Yep, and that'll be on Facebook Live. So that's very, very cool stuff that you got going on there. Now, do you have any social media or anything else as far as like plugs and stuff where people can find you? You don't really do social media.
I never get into that because, with IMDb, the acting, like if you just type in Ted Arcidi, it comes up everything, wrestling, acting, lifting. So I've got just pages and pages. So I don't need an ID. I don't need like a press kit because all they got to do is plug in the name,
Yes, very, very true.
Yeah.
Now, just one last thing. When can we see you in Ray Donovan? And I guess hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah, they're showing reruns of Ray Donovan, and now they got the whole series online now, on Apple, and you can buy it, on demand. And you can see me, and then hopefully we get more stuff coming up this year. So. Yeah, that's always good. It's always good when someone comes up to me on the set and says, "Hey, I used to watch you wrestle." They bring up the benching and stuff first because it all started in the gym.
Yeah.
That was, most of us wrestlers, when you think about it, were basically gym rats. That's what we were. So I like that. That's like really going back to like the struggle, just being, just trying to be the strongest in the fucking gym. That's cool. So there's occasionally people that come up to me from that, and that's awesome.